Good morning, everybody. We made it to Friday and the much anticipated public video of Adventures with Purpose and how they found Kylie Rodney. I titled my show, and yep, it's in the bio that this is what we're going to be watching. We're going to stop it in a couple of places so I can get your reaction, but the title of the video is definitely a trigger warning. This is the heavy stuff that Doug was talking about. This is definitely the heavy stuff he was talking about. Miss Linda's in the house. She said she heard that Jagger has been admitted to the hospital. Well, I hope not. I did ask about that. And of course, just like it always goes, I heard yes and I heard no. I think that came to be expected. Diane, good morning. Mama Kay, good morning. Queen of Ravens, good morning. There's Katrina and Uli and Misty, Lena, Dolores, DT Driver, Barb. If I miss anybody, I do apologize. I did slow down the chat. It was slowed down as well yesterday. Fun to ski. Beth, how are you? So who has already seen the whole video? Has already seen it? I know we had the premiere on. Who has seen the whole thing? Hang on, I got to turn my fan on. It is warm in here. Hello from Kansas City. I hope that doesn't make too much noise. I did. Sonia said I just did. Good morning to you too. Bedtime says 1. Just watched it. Well, several times. You're going to watch it again today, and we're going to talk about it because it is a mind blower. It is a mind blower. I also have some comments I need to address from the last show, some other things that we need to discuss because some people, and we're adults here, we can have adult conversations. This is not anything personal, but there are some people that are not happy with Adventures with Purpose. I don't understand it. I don't. I've never been in this situation, never want to be in this situation. I don't wish it upon anyone. Before we discuss that, what is your take? I'm going to do a separate members live about this because I got a lot to say about it, and I don't want to take up the whole damn day as we're rolling into a 3-day weekend. Jagger aside, what do you all think about Kylie's mother she's just not very happy with Adventures with Purpose. I'm putting it lightly. I'm just putting it lightly. From what I understand, the dad is appreciative. Grandpa's appreciative. She's not. Exactly, just me. We can agree to disagree. The guys have risen above all of this and just said people grieve in different ways. You know, sometimes with grief comes anger. Somebody said, please post the link to become a member. I will right now. Hang on. I've got to move my cup so I can get my mouth. It'd be nice if I got situated in the mornings properly. Elaine said it's weird. Elaine, you're right. There's the link to become a member if you so choose, because we're really going to dig deep into that. It's wild to me. It's very wild to me. We very early on, and I mean very early on, I mean her car had not been pulled out of the lake yet. Sammy comes out of the chute saying, this is a lie. Then she edited it, listen to me talk, to say this hasn't been confirmed, the family hasn't been notified. Well, we know Dad and Grandpa were notified. A couple of other phone calls were made. Supposedly mom was eating sushi that day, and a waitress told her because she got the notification on her phone. I'm not saying that's the proper way for mom to be notified, but according to the PI, dad and grandpa are very appreciative. I don't know what was really going on there. So we had Sammy come out of the gate. Jagger, good old Jagman, the hero that drove 4 hours immediately when he heard no one could find Kylie, yet had a news crew meet him in Reno where he said that's where she would be. Jagger came out and he's trolling Adventures with Purpose for obvious reasons. I can't quite read it out loud. Adventures with Purpose said, out now to members on YouTube, link in bio. He says, effing clout chasers. Then Jagman says, your witness is an effing liar and you guys have no respect. No respect for you. None. Thank you for becoming a new YouTube member, Jenny. I see. Am I pronouncing? Is it Jenna or Jenna? Jeannie? How do I pronounce it? I'm really bad about that anymore. Laura, thank you for becoming a new member. Jay Woody, thank you for the super sticker. I think there is more to why mom is displeased. That will be discussed in the members live for sure. Some things that were sent to me about made my face fall off my head. NSD, thank you for becoming a new member. And that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, Jagger, trolling him. Kate said it's BS. Kate said it's BS. And mom's got stuff. Mom was upset. I guess the question would be, did you still want Kylie? Again, there was a trigger warning put up. The title of the show is The Heavy Stuff. Did you still want her in the bottom of the lake? I mean, she was 14 feet under, one good drought. Right now they're going through a heat wave. You could have been walking by said beach and seen the tires sticking out of the lake. Is that what you wanted? I don't know. Let's see what Morgan has to say. I've got Morgan backstage. I'm going to put the link up. I do want to discuss this video and what's coming out. And there's going to be a lot more to discuss. You know how it goes around here. Lori says, I haven't admitted it out loud yet, but I agree that the mom's actions have been strange throughout this entire thing. I couldn't agree more. I don't wish this upon anybody, myself, anybody, my worst enemy. Everybody handles things a different way. I just couldn't imagine. I'm not saying she blasted this on Twitter. I'm not saying she made it public on Facebook. To put in writing to anybody that could hear it, to throw shade at the men that brought her daughter out of the lake, I don't understand. But like I said, they took the high road and basically said, people grieve in different ways. Before I bring Morgan up, I am going to read, this is the pinned comment by Doug Bishop this morning. He says, after being requested by tens of thousands of supporters such as yourself and being contacted by authorities, we wanted only to come and rule all of the waterways out so that resources could be focused elsewhere. With this being such a fresh case, I did not want us to come in and find her. This was very difficult but necessary. Our skill set has put us in a position of high demand. As tragic as this is, what we provide is answers that in most instances would never be provided otherwise. And because of all of you who support us, we are able to do this all across the nation, and we are able to do it free of charge for families and law enforcement agencies. So thank you to all of you who support us. Then he goes on to say, My thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Rodney family. They're, like I said, they're taking the high road. They're taking the high road. Before we get to the video, this is my fear. I'm not saying it's going to happen. This is my fear. With the backlash that these departments have gotten, rightfully so, because she was right there. Okay, I get it. But with the family, not the whole family, but a very key member of the family, the mom, coming out and throwing shade at them. There's also someone who wasn't hired by the family, but's been very outspoken in this case, calling them out. Other agencies and families might say, no, we don't want your help. Law enforcement especially. That's what worries me. That does worry me a bit. Let's see. Hang on. The GoFundMe was retracted the night before Kylie was found. So did people? I don't know. There supposedly people, it was said they're going to send money back. But then I heard as of yesterday, it's still open and people are donating. I don't know what that GoFundMe is all about. I don't know at all. Cindy said, I worried those three would be bashing the group, like need a diver team, etc. I'm worried. I'm worried that law enforcement's going to say, no, we're good over here. Look, I understand your family member's been missing for 20 years, but it's hard enough for us to get our job done without what happened there. We don't want it here. I'm just afraid that would happen. Let's see what Morgan thinks. Morgan, I talked a little. I didn't mean to leave you hanging back there. So you've seen parts of the video. What do you think? Just what you've seen. Oh, hello, Birdie in the background. What's your birdie face? Oh no, I love it.
I've got two. I've got a lovebird and a cockatiel. The lovebird's called Olive because she looks like a stuffed olive, and the cockatiel's called Percy.
Your bird's name is Olive because she looks like a stuffed olive?
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing I'm going to hear all day. That's the coolest thing I'm going to hear all day.
Oh, God.
Rhyme with Shannon said that your birds are getting her bird excited.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, the GoFundMe is still open. The GoFundMe is still open.
What are they funding for?
I don't know. When it was opened up, I didn't pay too much attention to it. Rewards, GoFundMes, you know how I am with that stuff. I don't really get into it, okay? I mean, we knew that there was no travel expenses coming because it was believed that she was somewhere around there. She could, was around there somewhere. I don't know. I heard that it was believed that she was abducted, so they wanted to raise money for a ransom. I don't know. It's at $150,000. Then it was said something about if they have to hire their own search and rescue teams. But Adventures of Purpose doesn't take money from the families. I don't know.
Yeah. I do find it odd as well that people, especially some of the family, are bashing Adventures with Purpose. Like you said, would you rather her not know where she is and her be at the bottom of the water, or I don't know, it just seems odd to me.
I could not imagine a night without knowing where my child is, first of all, and then to have to think about my child was in a lake not far from me. It would be mortifying for me. I could not handle that. I would be forever.
And I can see how it is embarrassing for some police departments when Adventures with Purpose go in and find them within 20 minutes where they've been supposedly searching for that long. And they had been searching because we've seen that they were. But I don't know. It must be a bit embarrassing for them.
They invited them in. I imagine when they found out where they found her, they probably thought, WTF? Because if their idea was to leave her in the lake forever, it wouldn't have worked out for too long. That is not that deep of water.
Have they come out and said anything more about it yet? Because usually if it was an accident, they would have come out and said no foul play is suspected now, but it's been over a week now.
We've had no release from them except for the body that was in the way back of the CRV. They didn't say that, is Kylie. That's all we have from them. But they're going to have to address this. They've got to be getting something together to go forward.
Yeah.
So let's get to it. Anywhere you guys, I'm going to watch the chat. Anywhere you guys want me to stop and talk, whether it's Morgan or her bird Olive, I can do it. Or if you need me to go back and listen to something, absolutely, we can do that.
An autopsy confirming
specialty search and rescue.
The Nevada County Sheriff Coroner. The search for Kylie began.
We had a guy with her. She was asking me really weird questions, like in the sense of, how do you put on your seatbelt?
Now we know we probably have a tie to Boca. This drop is a big drop.
A mother is missing her 16-year-old daughter. We need to find her, bring answers to this family.
We need to go get suited up.
Tonight, the weeks-long search for missing teenager Kylie Rodney ended just yards from where it began.
Call the authorities.
Kylie Rodney was last seen August 6, 2022. She was driving a silver 2013 Honda CRV, license plate number 8, Yankee Uniform Romeo 127.
16-year-old Kylie Rodney was last seen at a 300-person end of summer high school party in the Tahoe National Forest that stretched from Friday night into the early morning hours of Saturday. Authorities have conducted search efforts since then, including dive teams that entered Prosser Creek Reservoir on Wednesday, looking near the shoreline for signs of Rodney or her vehicle, but they found no clues to lead them to Rodney's whereabouts. Police said she last spoke with her friends and family shortly after midnight on August 6th, and her phone was turned off around 12:33 a.m. Law enforcement has expressed frustration at the lack of viable tips, in that few of the 200 to 300 people at the party are coming forward with information.
Guys, I guess I didn't make it clear. I'm sorry. I just want to clarify this. We're not going to watch it all the way through like we're watching a movie. I'm going to go through some pertinent clips, and that way you guys can watch it all the way through on their channel. Most of you already have.
So we just got out of Best Buy after picking up some supplies here in Reno, Nevada. We're on our way to work the Kylie Rodney case just down the street in Truckee, California. And Nick, a longtime supporter, fan of ours, appreciate you for coming up to us, possibly has some information in regards to the Kylie Rodney case. So why don't you explain a little bit about what you may have run into?
So my name is Nick. I work at the Emergency Roadside Assistance Program. I got a call up in Truckee, Boca, for a battery call. So pretty much that means that the vehicle can't start. So I went en route up there, found the vehicle. At the time, I didn't realize that this was a situation until later on. But
Let me stop right there. You said you went to Boca.
yes, sir.
So over near Boca Lake?
Yes,
So
sir.
not Prosser Lake, Prosser Creek Lake.
It's right by Crosser Creek.
Yeah, so just north. So you went to Boca.
At first, when I went there, I realized after my test that, everything was working great on the vehicle. At that point in time, I did notice that, she was very hesitant and very skeptical on everything that was going on. She was asking me really weird questions, in the sense of, how do you put on your seatbelt correctly? And and she asked me to show her on how to connect it to, her actual belt. After that, she was stating on how she...
Can you guys hear that now? Some people have an echo, some don't. I don't know what to do. Are you okay, Morgan?
Sorry, yeah, I've got my mic muted.
Okay, so you can hear it okay?
Yeah, I can hear it fine.
Okay. Some people get an echo, some people don't. I don't know what to do. All right, I'm going to go back up just a little bit.
I appreciate you for coming up to us. Possibly has some information in regards to the Kylie Rodney case. So why don't you explain a little bit about what you may have run into?
So my name is Nick. I work at the Emergency Roadside Assistance Program. I got a call up in Truckee, Boca, for a battery call. So pretty much that means that the vehicle can't start. So I went en route up there, found the vehicle. At the time, I didn't realize that this was a situation until later on. But
Let me stop right there. You said you went to Boca.
yes, sir.
So over near Boca Lake.
Yes,
So
sir.
not Prosser Lake, Prosser Creek Lake.
It's right by Crosser Creek.
Yeah, so just north. So you went to Boca.
At first, when I went there, I realized after my test that, everything was working great on the vehicle. At that point in time, I did notice that, she was very hesitant and very skeptical on everything that was going on. She was asking me really weird questions, in the sense of, how do you put on your seatbelt correctly? And and she asked me to show her on how to connect it to her actual belt. After that, she was stating on how she was there all night and she couldn't get her vehicle started due to the fact that now we both realized it was in neutral. She was wearing a sweatshirt, so it looked like she has been there for quite a while.
What color was the sweatshirt?
It was a gray sweatshirt.
Gray sweatshirt. Was it dark gray or light gray?
It was light gray.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, there was a guy there that was with her at time being. He was wearing a black San Francisco flat top ball cap facing forwards, brown hair that's sticking out just a little bit on the sides. It was kind of like they were both kind of at unease is what it looked like for me, as if either they had a crazy night or a crazy day or there's something going on I couldn't know, and at the time I didn't realize what was going on. But other than that, he was a thinner built guy is the best way I could put it, with a bro tank, and it was a white bro tank. He had some freckles on his face, or maybe it was acne or whatnot, but it was on both sides of his face. He was also a little bit shorter than me, so I'm 6'3".
In hindsight, you're realizing all of this. When do you think that this took place? Was it before, during the day, after she disappeared?
To be honest with you, it's either right after she disappeared or right before she disappeared. But it was around noonish, 11 o'clock in the morning when I got out to her. During that period of time, after the period, I told her that I was going to leave and I hope you have a great day. Vehicle, I told her to keep it running for a couple of hours to obviously make sure everything's working good on the vehicle, charging system wise. At that point in time, then I left, and then a week later is when I saw at a coffee shop that she was gone.
You saw this on a flyer or something?
Yeah, but then everything spiraled out of control and I got in contact with the detective and tried to do everything I could. And then I saw you guys.
Now we know we probably have a tie to Boca, which was already on my radar. Do you know who placed the call to your roadside company?
So I can't get details. Calls don't go through me. They go through
dispatch. So you don't have. So when you were digitally dispatched, did you call them to say you were coming or you just showed up?
I did call and nothing went through. It went
Nothing
straight to
went through.
voicemail. Yeah.
Do you know if she had a phone on her at the time?
She did state that her phone was dead.
Her phone
and
was
so
dead.
she used whatever guy, whoever this was, she used his phone. So that's how she did get in contact.
And what was, you mentioned like she was asking funny questions and acting weird.
Granted, I at the time I didn't realize again that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the towing industry my whole life, so you see a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of weird stuff, and it's actually pretty normal.
Yeah.
You know, so I can see why at the time it's just a normal
on,
call.
She kept on going over that, like how do you like, you know, secure your seatbelt firmly and like do it correctly, and that's
When she was asking this, was the guy that she was with right there too?
He was on the opposite side of the car.
So he could hear the conversation as well?
Every single time the guy would come over to us, she would go on to the other side, and it was just like a back and forth, like a tag team, better to say. Like one person would come over, she wouldn't stay near him, and then it would go vice versa. Or if we were at the front of the car going about the battery and talking about the battery, he was always on one side, she was on the other. They were never close to each other.
She was uncomfortable. Yeah, because that screams awkwardness and someone being uncomfortable. And when in that scenario, if he was there with her, he should have been right next to her. If not.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there for just a second. We may have to go back and listen to something. You know how we do here, replay queen. The hoodie that the girl has on, no description of the girl. By the way, the tow truck driver, by someone who's very trusted, said that it's been verified. He's the real deal, okay? Light gray hoodie. He said the call didn't go through. Now I'm wondering about the seatbelt. First of all, do you believe that the girl that was with the guy, whoever the guy is, the description sounds like Jagger, but like we were talking on the show yesterday, lots of people have those hats, and, kids kind of resemble each other. I mean, Kate and Kylie could pass for each other if you're just taking a glance. The seatbelt. For one, let me ask you guys, do you think the girl with the guy is Kylie? Also, I believe it was Jared that said this was on Saturday. So this would be after the party. Ooh, good point. Hang on, Slim. What do you think, Morgan?
I don't think it was Kylie. But I think Kylie was in the car. Might be an unpopular opinion, but my personal opinion is that she was in the car, either in the back or laid in between seats or something. She was in the car somewhere, and they were, when somebody makes up an elaborate story to cover up a lie, but it makes it in the end so obvious that it's not a lie. Well, sorry, that it is a lie.
Definitely. This blows my mind, girlfriend.
I think this was done purposely to have an alibi that she was either alive or supposedly alive, that the car was there, and they were doing the seatbelt thing so he wouldn't look in the car. But that, I don't know. Because who at the age of 16 or 17 doesn't know how to put a seatbelt on? Hell, even 3-year-olds can undo their own seatbelts.
The seatbelt has got me all kinds of confused, because they know how to put a seatbelt on. It goes without saying. They know how to put a seatbelt on.
You have to pass your test, so you know how to put a seatbelt on.
So, yeah, exactly. They know how to put a seatbelt on. Was it to draw attention to themselves so he doesn't forget? Or is it because they wanted him to touch things inside the car so his fingerprints are on it? Because we don't know what their plan is at the time. I don't know. Was their plan at the time to leave it in the water? or to make this look like a car wreck. We don't know what the original plan was. The original plan could have been, we're going to drive this off a cliff.
I don't think they had a plan, which is why it's happened like this.
Yes.
I think there was no plan, and this is why they freaked out. And I think Jagger, if he is in the hospital, is beginning to crack. So a person of that age can only deal with something like this for so long. You can't keep something like that in. It will drive you physically insane.
And that's what I'm wondering too. But maybe that's why we had to hear I'm filtering through the tips before they go to the sheriff. And maybe that's why there's all this is BS. You guys are clout chasers. Not a good look. Way too obvious. Let's see what Salty thinks before we get to the rest of it. Hey, Salty, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too. Am I echoing?
No, you're good.
All
Parts
right.
of the video, and even on my end, when I watched it on my TV, and my room had an echo. So I don't know what to do about it. Anyway, go ahead.
So I just wanted to clarify a couple things. I've watched some other podcasts. I really like yours.
Thanks,
I've been on YouTube for over a decade and lost many channels from YouTube not liking me, but because I get salty. But I've seen people attacking this tow truck driver for not calling the police. Instead, he called his girlfriend, from what I've seen from this video. But he clarifies that they seemed either hungover or they were on either drugs, alcohol, whatever. He found it weird. They were acting weird. He calls the girlfriend, I think, to settle himself. Like, do you think I should call the police? Do you think it's strange? And she probably said, we don't know yet, but, probably just kids, right?
Right.
And I don't think it was Kylie, because if she was in a bad situation like that, several times he said they were apart. The male and the female were standing apart from each other. If she was in danger, she could have run at that point. She, nobody's holding a gun, a knife, or, do you know what I'm saying? So I don't.
100%. And people acting weird isn't a crime.
No, and kids do that.
Some stuff. I ran into 2 weird people. It didn't prompt me to call the authorities.
My issue with that though is that if you're going to a call out of somebody in a car and they're telling you they don't know how to put their seatbelt on, or they're that out of it that they don't know how to put a seatbelt on, who would let them drive off?
Well, I think he thought they were weird questions. I mean, we weren't there. We didn't see it. So they could have been just being like bizarre. Like, people act bizarre sometimes. And, I don't think it was that. I can't get in this man's head, but, none of us can. I don't think it was that outstanding where it was like, I'm going to drive away from here, pull over, call the police and say these kids are screwed up. Do you know what I mean? He said I think he was leaning even more towards they were like hungover. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's that odd. So what I also want to say, my father owned a tow truck company, and he would, when you meet some strange people in those kind of businesses. In fact, I think, is it Doug was the tow truck owner here from Adventures with Purpose? I think he says the same thing in this video. You just run into some strange things. So, my father actually died on the side of the highway picking up a vehicle. So, I don't think you see so much of it, so much strange things. And my father's tow truck company was out in the mountains like this in Lancaster, New Hampshire. So,
well, and also when you think about it, when roadside assistance gets to people, their nerves are already shot. They're on the side of the road, dead battery, locked themselves out of their car, flat tire, you name it. Car totally won't do anything, and they have to get towed somewhere. So they're already kind of out of their element anyway.
exactly.
And so, you do run across people that with strange behavior. You don't call the police. I don't know why anyone is even throwing anything at him about that, because he says he recognized from the flyers put together the car, but he doesn't say anything, or they edited it out about it being, he doesn't verify who these people are, which is good. which is good.
Right. Exactly. The other thing I heard too was if these two people, these two individuals called in, they'll have credit card. They only take credit cards. That's not true. So if you're where my dad had his company, there wasn't an actual AAA building. So AAA, if it was AAA, they would sub that work out to my
Mhm.
father. Most of the time we would get tourists and they would break down coming up the notch. Franconia's Notch is the name of it. It's a really big, steep incline. So a lot of cars would break down there. Those people are paying cash. So, we don't know if they used a credit card. I would doubt it. I bet you it was a direct call in. Hey, I think they wanted somebody to see them. You know what I mean? Why else do it? Do you know what I
That's
mean?
what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking that they wanted to make sure that car was seen. I don't think they had a plan at the time. This is just my speculation of what to do with the car and Kylie at the time, because I just don't believe that girl is Kylie with him.
No,
And
and I
like,
think they said that
we have a on my phone, we have a AAA membership. I have an app. I don't call anyone. So they wouldn't, I mean, they have my phone number on file.
exactly. Back
Where
in
I
the day, my father had this company. We didn't have apps. So I'm almost 50 years old. But yeah, I think they probably would have paid cash. Look, our battery isn't working. I heard that the car itself called in. That couldn't happen if it was a dead battery. I have a Rogue now. If my battery's dead, that SOS button doesn't work. So
now hold on, I'm not trying to interrupt, but this is really important. They said yesterday this was her AAA service and Kylie's account. Also, from what I'm gathering, there really wasn't anything wrong with the car. He said the test was good. I didn't hear that he had to do anything to get it going.
No, he said it wasn't. It was in neutral, which is ironic, right? You had Jared saying that, in his opinion, that car was probably in neutral from the tires rolling back. People can argue that. I don't know. I didn't see it, so what gear it was in. But they could have absolutely used her AAA, and used her ID. You know what I'm saying? If you have somebody that kind of looks like the tow truck driver isn't a cop. He's not studying it. It's just the right person. It's just not happening. I mean, my mother's broke down in my driveway. She just hands the ID. They look at the name and whatever. They don't, does the name match the account? Do you know what I mean? That's all they care about.
I don't think I've ever been asked for my ID. Because what if you're on the side of the road and you're like, I left my wallet at home? I mean,
I'm sure
they never asked.
to verify, you know what I mean, what's your account number, whatever. I'm sure they have ways to doing it, but I have seen them here. In fact, my mother's, another time she broke down here, her AAA had ran out the day before, and my best friend had AAA, so he used his AAA. He had to be there, and they asked for his ID. So, because he's using his account for another vehicle. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you can do that as long as you're present with whatever car it is.
Yeah, they are big about that. They are big about that.
Right.
And,
so,
okay.
and
it's just ringing a lot of bells for me that they would need help that use her account. I don't know. That to me is very.
Well, it kind of makes sense if they used her account. She's alive, right? She's not dead. She's being seen, quote unquote, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that was the purpose of it, to make her look alive when she was probably not alive anymore. And
Dana says, Dana, thank you for the super sticker. If fighting with X, I think that is how they would be acting. She might have put it in neutral and got help to end the freaking fight and wanted a witness. So you're thinking it is Kylie there.
I think that this is why they were asking about hoodies to start with, because if this man did go forward and was saying he saw the car with the person in with a light grey hoodie, they were asking about the hoodies.
Now, that makes sense too, because they did focus on the hoodies, necklace, and help me out, something else.
Well, there was 2 hoodies that they were.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the police, you mean? They were focusing on jewelry, the 2 hoodies. That's all I remember. 2
And the
different
bodysuit.
What was that?
The bodysuit.
Oh,
The only-
yes, the bodysuit.
The bodysuit only seemed to be important to Sammy, though. Okay, I got to back this up just a minute. Hang on. The phone had died. That's why another reason I don't think it's Kylie, because I think Kylie would have found a way to charge that phone. It's her car. She knows how to use her car. I could be wrong.
Felt that like firmly and like do it correctly, and that's
When she was asking this, was the guy that she was with right there too,
on
or
the opposite side of the car.
so he could hear the conversation as well?
Every single time the guy would come over to us, she would go on to the other side, and it was just like a back and forth, like a tag team. Better to say, like one person would come over, she wouldn't stay near him, and then it would go vice versa. Or if we were at the front of the car going about the battery and talking about the battery, he was always on one side, she was on another. They were never close to each other.
She was uncomfortable. Yeah, because that screams awkwardness and someone being uncomfortable. And when in that scenario, if he was there with her, he should have been right next to her. If not dealing with you the entire time, and not her. Did she seem high or intoxicated, or?
I thought that maybe she was either hungover or just had a really rough day. She looked distressed.
Can you show me on the map where you saw her?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're here in Reno. Let's go down to Truckee. There's Prosser, there's Boca. Just drop a pin on the road exactly where you saw her.
Well, we're at the right place, right? Boca, you come in, you follow this road down. I think that is the turnout. Right there. Yeah, this is it. And so right there, how she was coming out this way,
So
and out of
her front end was facing 894.
yeah.
All right. And did you leave before her, or did she leave before you?
I left before her.
Was there anybody else around?
There was people far back here, yes, but not near her. No.
Did you notice anything in particular in her car at all?
I mean, besides perfume bottles and like, yeah, actually there was a perfume bottle that was in the center console, and that was all that I recall, to be honest.
Did she have anything on her keys at all?
I don't remember.
Did you say that you guys have cameras that could possibly get some sort of facial recognition on?
Yeah, so we do indeed. We have cameras facing front and rear of our vehicles, as well as that we do have like audio, so we can pick up audio from inside and outside of the truck. So we did have that, and I'm guaranteed, I mean, my vehicle is facing directly towards hers, so, and that's how I normally do it for my protection.
What's the window you're giving us of when this happened?
Either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I believe. Because the weekends I usually cover Truckee, so, and that Friday I also worked in Truckee, so, yeah.
If you were to make a bet on what day it was, what would you say?
I mean, when I was looking back under my GPS, under my phone of where I'd been, I was there both Saturday and Sunday, farther into Boca.
Everything you just heard unfolded right here where I'm standing.
Holy hell. Okay, it said on another panel, like I said, I believe it was Jared, that it's Saturday that he saw them. Now,
I think that he's not allowed to say. I think the police have this video, and he's not actually allowed to say it.
well, and you'd have to be a special kind of idiot to make this up and then say, yeah, we have recorded video and audio on our trucks.
Exactly.
And also to find the
Not get
video
down
and audio.
What's that, hun?
To find the video and audio, you'd know what day it was as well, because it would say.
It's not unusual that he doesn't know exactly what day it was, because they get so many calls, and usually I bet you if we looked into it, there's not many tow truck companies around out in that area. So my father was the only one, and he did Groveton, Littleton, Lancaster. I mean, he was the only one. I mean, it's out in the nowhere, in the Kilkenny Mountains. So this seems like a very similar area to what I grew up in. So it's not unusual to see one tow truck company and they get all these calls coming in. It kind of gets lost. What day was that? And they're running sometimes 12-hour shifts. So it's not unusual. I didn't think that was unusual that he couldn't pin down the exact day. And also, it's not unusual that he doesn't have access to the cameras. If you look
No,
at
I didn't find that weird at all. Or who called? He's not his own dispatcher, and he doesn't run security.
Exactly. And if you look at like convenience store robberies, the police will come in and go, "Can we have the video?" And you get a clerk going, "I can't give you the video. I can't get into that. I have to call the manager or the owner," right? So that's not unusual. I just heard this guy getting bashed left and right, and I have a soft spot for these tow truck drivers growing up in that. And I'm like, no, it's just not unusual. It wouldn't be unusual if they paid cash. It wouldn't be unusual for him not to remember specifically whether it was Saturday or Sunday. It's just not. It's not unusual. I think it
very well. It would be unusual if people don't come right out of the gate saying he's lying. Okay, we followed enough cases to know that's always going to happen.
Right.
We know that, and that's fine. And I mean, I'm not 100% sold on that it's Jagger. I mean, really, I think it'd be too obvious, and I'm not saying it is. He did have the weird behavior leading up, and you're listening to this, and if it is Kylie, it's hard not to get Gabby Petito vibes of the uncomfortableness, shifting around and stuff like that. Not really, you know what I'm saying? And on the screen, there is a picture of her in a gray hoodie.
And men too, because I've heard this. It wasn't Gabby's sweatshirt because there was the two sweatshirts. One was like white with gray and pink writing, right?
Yeah.
They just don't. I have a husband. He's not. He would consider that sweatshirt being gray. He wouldn't be particular. Like, well, it was white and it had these. He wouldn't. Women take note to that stuff. Most men.
I think he would remember the car, not the people in it or what was going on. He would just remember the car and the plate.
Exactly. I mean, he's a tow truck driver, and that's what he does. He's not. When he first shows up there, it's just the everyday thing that he does. He's not looking. He doesn't know at this point that there's a problem either. He doesn't know that this girl is missing. He has no idea because at that point, I don't even think at 11 o'clock, they hadn't even started a search for her. So why would he be thinking about it? This guy, I think, is being 100% honest to what he remembers, what he recalled. He did find it a little bit odd. He calls his girlfriend. What do you think? Do you think I should call the cops? She probably told him no. I mean, I think that Jared said that they have that where they.
I don't understand why there would even be a question to call the cops unless something was really, really off about them. From what I'm understanding, he saw the flyer, and I'm probably going to have to watch this 50 times to get all the details because there's a lot in there, even though it seems like it's just kind of not a commonplace conversation, but you know what I'm saying? It flows. That he, recognized the flyer, which would be the car, basically, because that's, he's a tow truck driver. XVFTX said Jared said the girlfriend confirmed it was Saturday, and that makes perfect sense. Now, the question I was asking for weeks, do you guys think it's an accident or foul play? I think we're all in agreement. Something foul happened here. Now, my question is, do you think it was Kylie with the car at 11 a.m. or someone else? I'm leaning more towards someone else.
Someone else.
I think it was someone else, but I think she was in the car.
Yes.
Do you know, said, am I blocked? No, you're not blocked. I'm looking right at you.
Oh, YouTube sometimes will hide comments, so they might feel like they're being blocked. They can't see their comments. So it depends on what they're saying. They'll hide comments.
Hydro Honda says cars start in neutral. I'm going to try that today. Don't think I won't.
Yes, they can, but not like if they're in a gear, like drive, reverse, it won't start.
I think she was already in the hatch.
Yes.
I think they either wanted someone else's fingerprints inside of it,
I think they just wanted an alibi to say
Yeah.
that she was alive or had been seen or the car had been seen.
I agree. What's your name? I can't see it on here.
Morgan.
Morgan, I agree 100%. She was in that car.
And I think that's why they were tag teaming as well. Going back to the back, they wanted to keep the focus at the front of the car.
Yep.
They didn't want anyone going around the back and looking in the back. That's why there was always one person at the back.
Yep, nailed it. Absolutely. And just for that, in knowing like a tow truck driver, and they know she's not being put out as a missing person yet. Nobody, so it's not an alert yet, right? I think mom at that point was already on the way down a processor to go look, because it wasn't until noontime, right, that she called the police, or around noontime.
That's what I'm waiting for verification on.
Yeah,
it was when they went to, she was waiting at Starbucks, wasn't she, for them or something?
She went there at like 9 a.m., but when the call was made to 911, I don't know. And I see a lot of people in chat saying their comments aren't showing. I see your comments. I'm not buying it. Said, why my comments not showing? I don't know what's going on.
That's YouTube. That's why my name. So I get salty with YouTube. They just, it could be what they're saying. And
hang on, I got to find
this.
You guys talk amongst yourselves. I think we have Lone Wolf backstage, and then I've got to get to a different spot on this. Hold on. Hello, Lone Wolf. What are you thinking?
Oh boy.
Well,
first off,
we did something.
When they showed as far as and blurred out finding Kylie in the car, they should have had a trigger warning, because they only used the single tones as far as blurring.
22 feet, 26, 30, 42 feet, 50 feet. Wow.
And I know that the FBI is highly involved as far as in this case.
105 feet. I'm going to change my scanning to feet. Either way, compensate for the depth. 117 feet deep right here.
As far as AWP putting this video out is more in line with how the FBI does stuff.
Live scope.
But the single blur, it triggered me as far as I was able to more or less determine everything.
This is an ongoing investigation.
But I personally, my personal opinion is this was all pre-planned up until as far as at the end of the party. And apparently the plan didn't go as they wanted it to. Mm-hmm. And that's when they went into panic mode.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. Yeah, and I mean, we agree to disagree here, and I pretty much knew watching this it would be upsetting. I'm not here to give a Siskel and Ebert movie review. I put a trigger warning up before this, and I just don't imagine anybody would watch this and not realize that there's going to be something upsetting. I mean, I get what you say, but you know, when someone is watching something that's put out in basically a documentary format, then you're going to be triggered, whether it's something like, you know, recovering Kylie Rodney from the lake, or it's when animals attack. You know, I already knew this was going to raise my blood pressure. But I do appreciate your feedback. All right, hold on one second.
some funny imaging on this, which is indicative of a newer vehicle. There it is. See that? What is that? That's a wheel. See the wheel? Is it a wheel? Is it a boat? It's like a wheel, man. Look at that. Look at that. That's a wheel. That's a wheel, dude. We have a wheel. It's tall, whatever it is. Got it. Got it. We got a car. We got a car. So trying to pull myself directly over it. Look at that. It's not giving a good reading, but there's a wheel. You see it? We need to go get suited up. We need to figure out how to get our RV over here. You guys put us in this position. Everybody that supports us, y'all put us in this position. We wouldn't be able to afford to do this if it wasn't for you. Let's assess our situation. 18 different agencies. Over 19,000 man hours have been put into this. Not a zero vehicle was found in this reservoir. That is giving me a really weird reading. It looks just like a car. It looks just like an SUV. And it looks like it's giving me some misreadings the way a newer car would. So amazing scan. Great job, man. Great job scanning that. We need to do this as quietly as possible.
You were able to get a magnet on it?
Oh yeah, and it's slipping. It's slipping on some of the vehicle the way a newer car would. It actually, it's not getting a. It's smooth. I can tell that it's smooth. Is it a boat? It absolutely could be a boat, but I doubt it, man.
Most boats are.
Yeah. Right. No one at camp can know what we're doing. Everybody's phones need to be turned off. If you have a phone, you need to turn your phone off right now. The last thing that we want to do is cause alarm to the family and or the local law enforcement. If this is a car and it's not the car we're looking for, I want to be able to do that peacefully. I don't want to cause a turmoil. If anybody knows that we found a car right now, it's gonna be unnecessary. It's gonna be unnecessary trauma for the family. We need to go back to the ramp and cause as little. We found nothing. We're just moving locations. That's all.
Okay.
All right. If this is her, this means all hope is lost as far as her still being out there,
Right.
and her showing up, her being found safe. This is devastating. This is as devastating as it gets. It's different when we're finding somebody who's been missing for 20 and 30 years.
Right.
This child, 16-year-old, same age as my daughter. She's only been missing for 2 weeks. Literally, the campground is right up over the hill. Right over the hill. This car is 0.3 of a mile from the campground she was at. This is absolutely a crime scene. It's an active investigation. Our job is to be here to find the where, which we have done. Now we need to assess it appropriately. Full assessment. Condition of the vehicle, windows up or down. Do not remove license plate like we normally do.
Copy that. Confirm. I see the vehicle and the license plate. We have just found Kylie's vehicle. Over.
10-4. Do a full assessment methodically, slowly. Make sure you focus on footage of the vehicle so that we can accurately relay that to the authorities.
Okay, I wanted to make sure everybody heard that when they said this is a crime scene. Now, who would have given them that heads up? It doesn't sound to me like he was making any kind of assumption. This was a very definitive statement. Did anyone catch that?
Listen, I think that any time they find a body in a car or they find a missing car, like something that the police have been looking for, that AWP calls it a crime scene. As far as they consider it, it's a crime scene. I followed them before they even found their first body because I used to watch a lot of fishing videos and they popped up as a recommendation. And I was like, oh, cool. They're cleaning up the rivers and stuff and the ponds and the lakes. And I remember when they found their first body and that's how they treat all of it. And they know that this is a missing girl. It's a new case. That's who they're looking for. They would just call it a crime scene. And I think they've
now they put that in every case. The only reason I find this case different, and I'm not correcting you or anything like that, is because it was so early on, it still could have been an accident. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
to
but
me,
they still call it a crime scene. I've seen them do it, like where they know people probably went in accidentally with dementia. They call it a crime scene in their videos. Wookie, it's okay.
Oh, I did not know that. They always deem it a crime scene. Okay, all right.
I also don't think they wanted to be the heroes in this. I think they truly didn't want to be the ones that found her or find her at all.
I agree, absolutely, and they always are like that. You know, they just want to bring closure. Closure is a bad word, but bring answers to the families. You know, they're not in it for themselves. So
that's why I find it hard with like people in the family saying that they don't appreciate it and stuff because they didn't want to be the heroes. They didn't want to find your daughter. They wanted her to still be out there.
And the key words is they found your daughter. So even if you don't agree with they do documentaries, I mean, listen, I'm going to speak for myself. I'm a mother of 6 children. They're all adults now. But if I found that there was still people out, because remember, the police scaled back their search. That's a fact. Was it 2 days before AWP got there? They scaled back their search. And I found that another search team was coming in to go look for I'm sitting wherever they are and waiting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not off having a yoo-hoo somewhere. I'm sitting there waiting. So this sort of I don't
and
know.
You can see how upset they are about this. Like even just finding the car, they're gutted.
Their fathers, their grandfathers, they get it. Their brothers. You know what I'm saying? That it's terrible. And I think
for a minute for these guys, it's every day at the office. I don't believe that for a second.
That's right. And that
they even spoke about having to take care of their own mental health.
Yeah, that guy, the guy who went in the water, I think his name is Nick. He he's living with that for the rest of his life. I have a husband who's a combat Marine, and he has severe PTSD. He was the first one in Desert Storm in Kafji, and that was the bloodiest battle. Let me tell you, this man's living, you never forget it. You never forget what you see. And this wasn't a cold case. This girl was freshly in that water. That's horrible to live with, to see.
I couldn't imagine, and I couldn't imagine disparaging the reputation of the men that found my child. I just
That's
couldn't.
right.
That's just me, though.
Yep. Even if you don't agree with their documentary, well, that's how they get their name out. That's how
Upside down. I repeat, it is upside down. I'm at the rear of the vehicle now, working my way around towards the driver's side. Over.
10-4. I read you loud and clear.
I'm approaching the driver's side window, trying to get a look inside. Cannot positively identify anybody inside yet. I'm looking at the back now.
10-4. Take your time. Be safe.
I see a pair of shoes at the back. I'm going to go in towards the back window.
10-4. I read you loud and clear.
This is where there are human remains in the vehicle. Over.
10-4.
Passenger window is broken out, it appears. Rear driver's side window is halfway down.
Copy that. Rear driver's side window is down.
Apply the line and turn topside.
Yep. That's what we do it for, brother. Good job. Good job. It's positive, you know? All right.
She's in the back of the vehicle.
Okay.
She's not in the driver's seat. It looks suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Vehicle's upside down. Some of the one window is halfway down. One window is all the way down. Call the authorities.
We help families all across the nation, and when we find out, they are notified first. So we're going to notify them first. My very next call will be the local authorities.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. Welcome, Mysteriously Brit.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, this is
Wow.
just insane. I just, he comes out of the water knowing what he could have possibly found. They know that there's a car, and you can tell he is shaken. That's very hard for me to watch. It's really hard to watch.
Absolutely. I just thought, just love his heart. You can just see it. It's real emotion. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on this? Now, of course, we went over the tow truck driver, what he said in the beginning.
Right.
Of course, it's heart wrenching when he comes up and he says
Mm.
it's suspicious.
Yeah. Call the authorities. Oh my goodness.
Call the
It's bone
authorities.
chilling.
Jared he went on several panels. I believe it was Wednesday, and he said she was in the way back.
Yeah, in the actual in the trunk, yeah. And
It
like those
looked
rests,
it
there's no room. Like she couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Oh,
it looked like where you put your shopping bags in
yeah.
the very back.
Mm-hmm. I my theory are you asking like what's my theory on the situation?
Your theory, what's your thoughts on this? This is a lot to take in. I mean, we
Right.
might
I
have
don't
a
want to say anything, like speculatory but I believe that she was placed back there and that before she was in the water that something had already happened to her. I've since the beginning I felt even when she was missing, I still felt like I was trying to help, spread the word in hopes that she was alive, because I was hoping I was wrong, but my gut feeling was that somebody done something to her because of the way the friends were acting. I felt that they continuously created distractions, like you know, directly trying to get the trafficking thing going, in my opinion. And then Jagger in Reno. This is all speculatory. This is not, so, but yeah, I just felt that something was really off the way they were acting, the body language with their hands. I worked at a jail for 6 years and I've worked in law enforcement in a small town, of course. But when people do things that are really terrible, they have the same like reactions with their body and they can't control that, even if they try, there's going to be signs. And actually, if you try to control it, I've noticed that it seems that it's even more noticeable.
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100%. I believe that when she went in the water, she was no longer
Yeah.
alive. I also think, when it gave me chills when it came out that she was in the backpack, the hatch. Okay,
Yes.
most people already have stuff back there. So
Hmm.
she had to have been stuffed back there.
Oh my goodness. Like, and
Wasn't
then
she
the
planning a camping
seatbelt.
trip the next day or that day?
Right. Like, wouldn't there have been camping equipment if she was going to be? And oh my goodness. Yeah. All of that's just so insane when you think now what we know now. And we're thinking back on the things we were talking about, like, was she going to go camping? Was she going home? Was all that actually real? And if there was nothing, like, did they clean the trunk out? You know what I'm saying? I just, there's so many questions.
I think the tow driver was the key to all of this, and I think he's
Mhm.
been the most helpful
Absolutely.
insight to what could have happened the whole time.
His story sounds extremely credible. It really does. Um, he doesn't seem like he's making anything up. Like it's pretty smooth as he goes through. He's not like, none of that. It's like a smooth story. You can tell it was like weird to him, but we all have weird occurrences. Here where I live, if I meet people out, like they ask really weird things and act really strange because, well, honestly, most of them are probably under the influence, right? But I don't normally call the cops because it's just something that happens. These people are strange. So I wonder if, it seems as if he maybe thought about it but he contacted his girlfriend and then I guess, he probably felt, well, they were probably partying, he probably was trying to brush it off as nothing. And then as soon as he saw that, he was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, what have I missed here?
Exactly. And the PI, he made a comment because he's been on Twitter, and this week Twitter has been busy, busy, busy.
Yes.
And he had said that the kids were not searching. Sammy left on that Monday, which is coincidental, I will say, when Adventures with Purpose announced that they were going to come and start searching for Kylie. And my thing is, I didn't expect these idiots to be able to find her anyway. They don't know anything about searching, search grids, etc. Okay? I understand Hero said he started driving 4 hours. That's a big word. That 4 hours comes up a lot. 4 hours, immediately when he found out she was missing. Okay, and then we have the false narrative put out and the inserting ourselves into a case, throwing people off. So it seems to me that you didn't even try to pretend like you were searching. You might have just been spending that time covering your tracks.
I absolutely agree with you. I want to say too, I'm really glad I found your channel because
I'm glad you did too.
I feel like you've had the same thoughts as me this whole time. And I had never seen your coverage. And actually, the other day, just out of nowhere, I was, and I watched some of the Summerwell stuff, but not a lot, And I just watched a whole live of yours, like that was going on, about that. Like, I just really enjoy your stuff. So I wanted to say that as well.
Well, I enjoy having you up. We just say it like it is around here.
Well, thank you. And I enjoy that. I think that's how a person should do this. People come to YouTube because they want real people with real thoughts, real emotions, real life. They don't want this skit stuff that's fake. And then they come to find out that they were fooled the whole time. You want a real person that's actually showing who they really are.
Well, I appreciate that. And I like having real people around.
Yes.
Speaking of, we have Sis backstage. Let's get to know Sis and tell her hi. Hello, Sis. How are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah. What are you thinking about all this? It's a lot to absorb. We're not going to get through all this in one day. That is for sure.
Yeah. So I just watched the whole video this morning, actually. I mean, I've been following other channels, and you've been putting out snippets, but I think that Adventures with Purpose is working with law enforcement. That is my gut feeling, because I feel like if they put out this video and it was false and the parents were mad and whatever, I feel like law enforcement would have been out already to clear up the air, because that would put their investigation at risk. But also it's slander and defamation against other people. So I feel like law enforcement is working behind the scenes with Adventures with Purpose. That's just my gut feeling.
I agree.
Jared keeps saying they didn't have the red tape, right?
Yes.
What better way to scare a boy who is really mouthy and angry seeming? What better way to scare him into making mistakes for them to get the actual evidence they're going to need for prosecutors to be able to, actually bring this case in and get a good result. But what better way than to show this? They did not state his name. The description matches him perfectly. And, we all knew, and then his reaction to it,
I mean? The way that he was so quick. I think that also they put the video out to get a reaction, because that,
Absolutely.
Now the mom's coming out saying this, I have no respect for them. But how do you know the mom isn't also working with law enforcement to get a reaction out of the kids who can come out and say, they're lying, that's not true? Like Sammy came out and said they didn't find her. And it's like, well, you don't know that, because they had all their phones off. In the video, they said, turn your phones off. We cannot make a scene. Nobody can know.
Absolute respect. Yeah.
Yes. And
Hold on,
there is
1 second. I don't mean to interrupt you. I have to address something in chat. Absolutely a crime scene. I don't think anybody's arguing that. Did I misspeak? Yeah, it's absolutely a crime scene. It was,
1000.
let me put it this way. It was chilling for me to hear Doug say this is a crime scene. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've thought it all along. I always had an issue with the accident angle.
Yes. And even I'm sorry, they debrief with Ellie, Adventures with Purpose does. So how does anybody know in those meetings what Ellie said? We have a person of interest. We got a good tip. He was a truck driver. He recognizes this male. He's seen the male on the news, and then he came forward. There's so much more that goes into this than what meets the eye. I mean, we can all sit on Twitter and Instagram or whatever, YouTube and speculate. But I don't think Ellie's just going to let a 16-year-old die and not look into it. I mean, I've driven drunk before. I think we all have. It's not good, but I know a lot of friends who have DUIs, whatever, but they've never drove into a body of water, which I'm not saying it's not possible. It definitely is. But the way the map is set up, where she parked, where the party was, it just doesn't make sense.
I was and I don't mean to bring anything else like that into it. I'll just say it like this. Me and a friend compared the photo that Sammy had released to media of like those few people at that party that were like looking in that direction. Then there's that shiny thing. Okay, well, I saw a video that like they use the natural markers, the trees, because the trees are really unique, like in their areas. Like, okay, there was the 3 trees where Sammy pointed, and then there was like a couple trees that were separated where she should have been parked. There was this guy who went out and was looking and picking up trash and whatnot, and he was parked in that very area. Well, there's those 3 trees. Well, in that photo that Sammy released to the media, her photo. Now, why would you take that photo? The people like I was alarmed by the guy over on the left hand side. He is like running towards that, looking so crazy, and that's literally the 3 trees where the car would have been parked, according to Sammy and according to everything, going by the map and the trees and the natural markers. I was like, because I kept looking at that and thinking, okay, you see how that is? The 3 trees are right there. Like there's some branches hanging down underneath it says Sammy Smith. Those 3 trees are right there. Then you got your other tree. It's just so strange to me. I believe that could be Kylie's car, possibly.
Well, they all look stunned as hell.
Yes, they look like running. There's 2 guys here running
with a bunch of chickens in the rain.
Listen, people who
this is the party. You're telling me this is the when I saw that, I'm like, that's
right.
The picture. That's Sammy, and you can't. I don't know if you can see it, but it's up in the left-hand part of your screen at the upper. Sammy, this is the picture she gives to Channel 13 of the wild party.
Yeah,
there's no. I mean, I don't see anybody's hands in there. Like, yeah, good to see you. I mean, nothing.
So she didn't take this photo to show how hopping this party was. In my opinion, she took the photo for the light to try to see something. And they're going in that direction. I mean, over here on the right, look at the guy in the blue hoodie. He is running. The guy in the green is with him. Then over here, you got the guy on the left. He's like stunned, looking at like
were people fighting? Like people are trying to deflect from that picture, saying, "Oh, it's nothing. It's not even
it's
safe."
Something.
You know,
it's something. I believe.
And my gut, like. You have to follow your gut instincts when you're following cases or even just in daily life. You know, you've all been at the grocery store and had a weird feeling putting your cart away and you're like, oh, I have to get to my car. Like you always trust your gut. And when I saw that picture, those teenagers, they're looking at something. Was there a fight going on? Did they see somebody maybe stop Kylie on the way to the car and start talking to her? Like, what is going on if there's all these drugs and adult men and all this stuff? Like, people, why is nobody saying anything? I would say something. If I was at a party and one of my friends went missing, I think that I would be like, what the hell is going on?
If Sammy told the truth about where the car would have been parked, 100% going by these natural markers, that would be that area. And I found it odd, like she was stating, like all jumbled up, like, well, we were talking about the party but we weren't planning to go together, but then we ended up not going together. Like, did she ride with her? And she's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was odd.
No, yeah. Sammy is full of it, but
right, absolutely
in there somewhere.
She wanted to create as many distractions away from Prosser Lake as possible. What reason, you know?
Well, yeah, and I also when asked what she thought happened, without hesitation, there was no, I hope she's okay. I don't even want to think about that. There was no normal human
He was abducted. That's what
she had. She had thought this through, what she was going to say.
Hang on one second. It's got to be one at a time. It's not that I need my turn to talk because I can talk all day. But on the other end, people that are listening, like it blares in their ear. You know, like a lot of people, they'll complain afterward and they'll go, I had my ear pods in, and then you start yelling, and I'm like, all right, I'll figure that out. But without hesitation, no normal human reaction. She doesn't say, I don't even want to think about that. I know she's alive out there somewhere. Not good old Sammy. Not friend Sammy. She's halfway around the world.
Yep. She knew, she had thought that through, what she was going to say. You could tell, because there was no other, like, she had no other explanation. She just kept pointing towards trafficking or something of that nature, you know, her being kidnapped, but she's alive and well. Jagger and Kate. Same thing, trying to draw them away from Prosser. For what reason? Why are you going to Reno and showing them where you and Kylie spent time together? Okay, are you like one of them obsessive guys that cannot allow her to be with anyone else because you have to have her. I don't know. That's speculation, but
Can somebody clear something up for me? Was Jagger's interview before Sammy had her interview with the YouTuber? Does anybody know that timeline? Because
Was
in that,
after, from what I believe.
okay,
Hers was like 2 days after in Reno. Some people say no, that's when it was aired. I don't know. I don't know when the actual footage was taken. Now let me ask you guys this. Who I'm going to assume a lot of people, who has children in here on panel? You have children. Sis, do you have children?
I do not, but I have nieces and nephews.
Okay, if you saw that picture of kids standing around, could you not, and this picture has been floating around everywhere, particularly early on from when Kylie disappeared. Sammy gave it to Channel 13. You could pick out your own child in that picture. Could you not?
100%.
I know I could.
But the first thing when I saw that picture was I thought, what an absolutely shite party that is.
Right.
Right.
300. That is Woodstock 2022. That is what Sammy provides, besides a bunch of trash on the ground and kids standing around like they don't even know what day it is, or like it looks like that party from Revenge of the Nerds when
that looks like
standing in the corner going, "What should we do next?"
That's interesting. Look at that photo. There's all kinds of trash everywhere. When people started going out there and searching, there was not that much trash. So, I mean, did somebody try to pick up certain things? I wonder.
The parents went and cleaned up, apparently.
Oh, okay.
But the reason, I'm sorry, I'll say one more thing, then I'll hop off. The reason why I brought those pictures is because they both said that she was out of town, but she's safe. And it's weird that they would all agree to have that story that, you know, she's taken far, far away, or she's out of state, or halfway around the world. I'm checking Reno because this is where we went to make out and take creepy pictures. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a weird, they were trying to place her away from everything and everyone, but she was found right there.
I actually have something that would vibe off of that. Now, we got to think back.
We are on the side where the party was. Here.
Sorry, I hit the button. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Sammy had stated that there was, when they were out there talking about charging their phones and like, who talks about that? Like, really? Like, that was her explanation for the conversation they had. They went to charge the phones, and I guess that's the only thing her brain could come up with at that time was, yeah, we talked about charging our phones and her texting her mom. Okay, but she said at that time, too, that whole time frame is weird to me. But so she says there was 2 other people in the car, like 2 other friends at some point. And then Jagger, when he's doing that interview, he says the 2 of us or the 3 of us. And who's the third person? Who's the other person? Is it Sammy?
I think there's a group of them that all know what happened. I don't think all of them were directly involved, but they know exactly what happened, and this is why they're not saying anything, because they all have to be on the same page. But if Jagger is in the hospital right now, I think he's in the process of cracking, because, like I said, a person of that age can't hold on to something like this forever. It will drive you insane.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that. 1,000.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of telling in his comment section on his Instagram. It's always Sammy commenting, and then he likes it. And it's like, it's just weird behavior because they didn't speak to each other during the interviews in the media. They weren't standing next to each other. And there was all that speculation that was false or supposedly false of them dating before, but not really, but maybe. And they met through friends. Kylie met Jagger through friends or what? I don't know. It's just like, it's like a love triangle or something, I think. Like, it's so weird.
And let me ask you guys this. Okay, people say it's a rumor. It's a rumor that was said by many people about certain parents. I don't know whose parents, and I would love to know who, went out there and cleaned up all the trash. I believe this rumor, and I'll tell you why. One, we found out days later that there were certain adults that were telling the kids not to talk. Also, she's reported missing. If there had been a party at that spot, the wild party that we saw, law enforcement would say, don't touch anything. It was cleaned up before. So I do believe that the parents went and cleaned up. That makes, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not saying I would do that. It adds up. Let me say that.
I think that the three. I think that maybe there was two involved, maybe all three. I don't know, but I think that they were all involved in some sort of way, and definitely in the cover up and the distractions. So that means they all three must have some sort of knowledge, of what happened, where she's at, and where to draw people away from, because that's all this has been: distraction, and so on.
I think when one person does crack, though, the others will quickly follow.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. And when everything's really quiet in a lot of cases, I notice that's when Ellie is putting together all their puzzle pieces. They're drawing on that whiteboard. They're putting up Post-its. They have pictures of people. They have arrows. You know what I mean? Like, I think right now they're in that stage of the investigation where they're about to leap on something. And I think that is why AWP released their video. So that's all I wanted to say today. And thank you for having me on. I had to get my day started, or I could talk for hours.
Be a stranger.
Yes, I will be back. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Thanks.
But no, I just really think that it adds up that if these parents, now my child would have legal representation before speaking to any law enforcement if had been at a party where a girl went missing. Not that I think that my child would be guilty, but I just want to make sure that they have the right verbiage when speaking to the police. I think we can.
You love your child. You're a good mother. That's what that says.
But I would not be at a party at 4:30 in the morning, even though I'm up really early. I'd be like, no, clean up your own damn mess.
I love you. Oh my God.
No.
No, my mum would say the same. She'd be like, if you can go to a party and be out until 4 o'clock in the morning, you can bloody clean it up. I'm not doing it for you.
Absolutely.
And Mint, I have your email. I have to go through it. I have it. I saved it to my desktop. There's another spot in the video, very widely talked about, and I want to get everybody's take on this. Not accusing anybody of anything, okay?
I just keep going back to how bad that party looked. It was just awful.
Disgusting, right?
Jeez. I'm like three times some of their age. Let me do the math. I don't want to make myself too old. I wouldn't have hung out there. I'd have been like, all right, call me when something cool goes on.
I'd have been sat in the corner covered in a blanket and been like, can we go home now, please? I'm so bored.
Absolutely. And a lot of people who went back there, they were like, there's TP everywhere. Like, ew. Okay. Ew. That makes it even worse.
And if the kids did clean it up, that would even really surprise me.
Yes.
That would really surprise me. I'm going to look at that picture again. Hang on. There's something. The picture's weird anyway. The mass exodus, it's all weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Why does the picture look like it was taken in 2003?
Because, yeah, I think that was like that she chose this photo because of its quality. It shows something. You don't really know what it's showing, but it's just blurry enough that in her hopes that, nobody can be pinpointed, I suppose.
Supposedly it's through a windshield. Like took it through the car. Car window.
Stranger. But yeah, this is that parking area. You see the car over here, and then that car's shiny, and it's just weird.
I'm more concerned about the car to the left.
Right. By the 3 trees. Ain't that strange? Like, I didn't catch on to it at first. Like, I heard people talking, oh, it's one of those fire pit barrels, but there was none of those out there. It's this, it's that. I believe with all my soul, truly, that has to be her car. They're all acting weird and looking right towards that area, that shiny object. And if, like I said, if Sammy told the truth about anything, if she told the truth about where the car was parked, which I think she would have, because she was just so determined to distract and pull away, that this was not one of those things she had thought out in her mind. I don't believe. And she pointed it out, and then we comparatively compared it to the trees and the markers, and that is that location. That's crazy.
It's freaking nuts. And Double Mint is smelling what I'm stepping in. Would that be the headlights with Kylie being placed in the car at the time.
Possibly. Oh my heavens.
Everybody is looking in one direction. You can't get a group of kids to do anything all at once.
Right.
Something was drawing attention to an area. It could be.
Absolutely, I agree. That's just insane to me. I mean, like, I've looked at that photo time and time again because, like you stated, it's been around since early on when she gave it to them, and it circulated. And I've looked at it, and I thought, well, this is strange. But then when I really started focusing on the guy, like 2 guys running on each corner, and then I looked at those 3 trees, and I was like, holy moly, this actually does have something to it. This actually does hold water. Like, I figured she took that photo for some reason, and and it's obviously not because it's a fun, raging party, and that's going to be like her flyer for the next one. Hey guys, look how much fun we had at this one. No, that photo is for another reason, I believe. And like I said, it's just so strange. What do you think about it? I mean, like,
the picture's always been odd to me and off to me. Also, that this picture was given to Channel 13 by Sammy.
Right.
But now it's extra odd to me for a lot of different reasons. I'm writing notes as I'm talking to you. And I'm no one to talk about wild parties in high school or anything like that. I mean, on Friday nights, I was watching Urkel. Okay. That was, remember on ABC, the TGI, It's Friday, whatever. Yeah, I was watching Urkel.
I was a good girl too. I never partied until way after I was out of high school. Like, my mom would have killed me.
I went
to even say partying then.
I went to parties when I was underage, and then by that point, when I was like the age where you can legally drink and stuff, I was bored of it, so I just stay home now.
Mama Kay, I put it up, and I'm still looking at the picture, and obviously none of these children are mine, but I would be able to recognize one of my children in the picture if my children were at said party.
And your children's friends, you know what they look like, you know what they wear.
So what do these parents know? That, you know what I mean? They know, and they've told them to be quiet. And oh my goodness. So
to me,
it
also seems like throughout this whole thing, they've created themselves a like nothing youthful, but a little trail of tips and hints. Like, they've got little alibis for themselves the whole way, like, and proof. It's just weird.
They thought they were a lot smarter than what they are.
Oh, 100%.
IMO.
I gotta look at it again.
Like, why take that picture with nothing to see in it, apart from a rubbish party? Why would you take it unless you were creating a little paper trail for yourself?
Yeah.
Well, and if you look, okay, I'm looking at what I believe it looks like a car to me in the back. I'm wondering if this is when something was going on. Okay.
That's what I believe.
I don't want to be gruesome and say, look, they were putting Kylie in the back. And if you look on the ground.
Oh, wow. What is that right there?
It looks like a shirt.
Yes, it does.
But it's obviously this is not very good quality.
That could even be that hoodie, like the Odd Future one. Jesus. You want to know something else that's really strange? I'm telling you the truth. Like, I'm 100%. My husband saw it as well. I watch your channel. I watch a few others, but not very many. Because I used to have a big channel, and I know a lot of the other creators. So I try to find the people who seem to be like realistic and awesome, like you. Well, oh geez, where was I going with? Oh, I saw a photo. I'm not even playing you. I cannot state that it was for sure the party or whatever, or the night of the party. But in this photo, Kylie had her legs crossed. She was sitting on like this big, nice made wooden bench. She was wearing the Odd Future hoodie. Her hair was just like it was in the photo, from the gas station. She had on Dickies pants, but her shoes were like Jordans or something. And now we were watching it on my television because I'm stupid. And I thought, well, I can get that later. Now I cannot find it anywhere, and it's drove me absolutely insane.
Well, if you find it, I want to see it. I haven't seen it
I
either.
promise you, I will. I pinky promise you, because I'm going to find that photo somehow, some way.
Does anybody else know the photo?
Yeah, because I've been asking everyone. In the same video, do you know that photo that was released? It's like some random person's Honda CRV, and they just kind of took a picture in the back, and it kind of looked like it maybe had been a flood vehicle. There was like a shoe. It just kind of looked like mud had been in it. That photo was in there. And then there was some other ones, but that photo is the one I really wanted. It holds value because of everybody, saying, well, I feel that that's proof, possibly that it could have been that party, because those are the exact clothes. I mean, what other party did she go to wearing that outfit?
The outfit is going to be up in the air for me for a while, because
Right.
Sammy, remember, don't forget, Sammy, I'm going to put it up right now. I don't want anybody to forget this. This is her quote right here. Sammy Smith, I had the last call to her. I was the last person pretty much who knows what was happening. But she fails to mention exactly what law enforcement asked for, which is if anybody recognizes this hoodie, and we see the Lana Del Rey. Then they bring up the Odd Future. Then they bring up necklaces. All she will talk about is the black tank top, saying that the one that was found later is not hers because she was in a bodysuit. Then she goes on as if she's not sure. She goes, well, if you see in this picture, it's kind of raised above the thigh, so it's a bodysuit. Then doubles down. Thank you, Sammy. And makes herself look even worse and says, because we peed together. We copped a squat. Yeah, we know how to squat and pee, Sammy. And it had snaps in the crotch. So she makes sure she lets everyone know that's a done deal. But she fails to mention the other features of wardrobe.
And obviously the Lana Del Rey hoodie is absolutely nothing at all like the Odd Future hoodie. And I know she had seen the coverage because she was going on people like Tony Dodge's podcast, So clearly she was watching the YouTube creators and what was everybody talking about? The hoodies, everything we were given at that time, right? And she didn't bring it up, but yet she brought up a bunch of like useless stuff and like information that she had come up with for distraction, in my opinion.
It sounds to me like if what has been not reported by law enforcement, but the word on the streets, the Lana Del Rey hoodie, okay?
Creepy.
That was, her mom said, a friend's. It was borrowed from a friend. Now, from what I have read, that friend is Kate. I could see the tow driver getting the faded black confused with gray.
Yes.
I really could.
And then in, the Reno video, look who it is with. Yes. And because she could pass possibly, the only one that I feel that could. As Kylie, I don't want to be disrespectful to Kylie because she's absolutely gorgeous, or anything like that. But I feel if one of them would have been mistaken, it would have been her.
I think Kate would be the closest.
Yeah.
If you're going to mistake Kylie for one of, I haven't seen all the friends though. The thing is in the video, he doesn't give a description of the girl.
Right. Now, Jared said that he has like a bunch of other videos, right? And I assume that we will maybe hopefully get a description of the girl later. I'm hoping.
Really? They're going to release that?
I'm hoping so. I mean, I don't know. That's just me speculating. But when he was talking about the other videos, he was just saying that a lot of the information that we want will be in those other releases. So I don't know for sure, but maybe.
Well, I don't know if I can take another video right now.
Right.
I may have to see the doctor first.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, just seeing him come up out of the water, Nick, on his first, with, oh yeah. Ew, oh my God, it just kills me.
And now it bothers me too. Yeah. Nick coming out of the water. That broke my heart. My heart. And now it's extra odd to me that Sammy made sure to say that she had on the green Dickies, but that she was so positive about the belt.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And she like said, not those pants, but Green Dickies pants. Like those are Green Dickies pants. Genius.
Lori says, check your email. I just sent 2 images. I'll check it right now. All right, let's look at this really quick. I say really quick. You're going to hear it a few times. You know better than that around here.
On live scope, real consistent 45 feet here. This just got sent to me. I cannot name who did, but it says the Truckee Facebook missing persons groups are on fire with speculation about what happened to Kylie. Thing is that some of it may not be speculation. It may be real clues as to what happened. The party, 200 plus, fact is there was a lot of drinking and drugging. Reported fights, some disturbing behavior between Kylie and a girl named minutes before the party suddenly breaking up. And then cars started flying out of the parking lot. Something bad happened and all the kids' parents told them not to get involved. You may want to keep in mind that there's a possibility of what happened to Kylie could be more sinister, and there was a panic. I knew.
Holy crap.
Holy crap. So if you haven't heard that, that pretty much whoever sent that to him kind of surmises the night.
Absolutely. That mass exodus. OMG. Guys.
And everybody left. It sounds like, I can't say sounds like because it's bleeped out the way, I don't read lips, but you know, it was a 2-syllable name. It's not as simple as Kate. So now I'm very confused. But again, the tow driver did not give us a description. We're going to listen to that again.
Okay.
If I need to slow it down, let me know.
Extreme levels of sonar utilized by different sonar teams in this reservoir. I'm confident in what they've done. However, and not to sound cocky, but if we haven't searched it, it hasn't been searched. That's our motto so that we stay efficient and protect the integrity of everything we do as we're working for families and law enforcement. So I'm theorizing that the bottom of this reservoir is a similar color to silver. Could it have not been seen? Absolutely. Could the car be in here? According to law enforcement, like I said, we are at her last known location. They said her cell phone stopped pinging right here at 12:33 a.m. on August 6th. Today, we're going to be putting myself and Nick 2 boats in. For one, it's going to be great training for Nick. As you guys know, we're training Nick to be a team lead for our second team. So not only is 2 boats better than 1, but we're also utilizing my ability to put Nick out in front of me so I can see what he's seeing, see what he misses, see if he catches anything and so forth. Great training opportunity. And speaking with the Placer County Sheriff's Department, they did advise me that it got down to about 55 feet deep. And right now we are at 45 feet, reading on live scope. Real consistent 45 feet here. This just got sent to me. I cannot name who did, but it says the Truckee Facebook missing persons groups are on fire with speculation about what happened to Kylie. Thing is that some of it may not be speculation. It may be real clues as to what happened. The party, 200 plus, fact is there was a lot of drinking and drugging. Reported fights, some disturbing behavior between Kylie and a girl named minutes before the party.
Okay, I paused it right there. I went back too far. Sorry about that, guys. That's okay because we need to hear that anyway. 12:33, this spot, this area. Okay.
Magdalene.
Now I'm wondering if he said Magdalene.
Magdalene, yeah. Wow.
Now, when the PI said, he didn't say it now, when he was on Twitter and he said, it's all going to come out and stuff like that. And he said, it actually makes perfect sense that I've been calling her 10-minute mags since I started covering this case, which I believe was the Monday after she was reported missing. He said, it makes perfect sense when you hear the story. Like, he doesn't find anything odd about her being there for 10 minutes. And of course, Sammy also verifies and makes sure to let us all know her entire name. She was there for 10 minutes.
Right. I believe that has to be the name. Like you said, it's 2-syllable, and it just looks like it to me. I don't know what it is, but when I seen that, I was wanting to tell you, and then you said it too, and I was like, wow, yeah.
Did we just become best friends?
I think so, girlfriend. But that leads me to this. As much as I've been watching, I've never heard anyone like, what name do you like to be referred to as? I know you don't want me to call you Crime Lines and Lies, so I'm so sorry.
I've been told worse.
Well,
just Brooks. Everybody calls me Brooks.
Brooks. Okie dokie. I had heard that in the beginning, and somehow with all this, my brain was just like, blah. So I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're fine. Call me whatever. That's what it kind of looks. And I'm not saying that I think Mags has, that she, well, we don't have a description of the girl from the day.
Mags is pretty smart now that I'm thinking about it. She didn't do what Sammy did. She didn't go on all these podcasts and stuff. Now, did she? And she was only there for 10 minutes. She just spoke barely with Sammy in some of those interviews. And so we don't have a lot to go off. So that kept us from really having a lot to speculate when it comes to Mags.
She pretty much, she stayed out of it, I guess, as much as she could. I mean, she stuck out like a sore thumb without trying, but she tried the most she could. She certainly didn't interfere and say, send me tips or anything. Now I've got to find that tweet. I know I've got it saved somewhere. It's in my folder somewhere, because he said it makes perfect sense when you hear why. Let me listen to this again.
Yeah.
With speculation about what happened to Kylie. Thing is that some of it may not be speculation. It may be real clues as to what happened. The party, 200 plus, fact is there was a lot of drinking and drugging. Reported fights, some disturbing behavior between Kylie and a girl named minutes before the party suddenly breaking up. And then cars started flying out of the parking lot. Something bad happened and all the kids' parents told them not to get involved. You may want to keep in mind that there's a possibility of what happened to Kylie could be more sinister, and there was a panic.
Damn right. It's not more sinister. I'm
Holy moly.
that way now. Sorry. This is going to change a lot, by the way. Who do you think the fight was with? Again, we're just having a discussion. We're not accusing anybody of anything. It's not going to say whoever had a fight against, a couple teenage girls is responsible. Jay said 2 syllables. Jules says Sammy. Snow is on Mags.
Sammy, Mags.
Someone said, zoom in on his glasses and read the text. You're good.
What? Oh my gosh.
I love this chat. I swear to God, these people are the best. Hang on.
You have the best. I am not even kidding. Yes. That is so intelligent.
It may be real clues as to what happened. The party, 200 plus, fact is there was a lot of drinking and drugging. Reported fights, some disturbing behavior between Kylie and a girl named minutes before the party.
I'm getting 3 syllables now.
Wow. So we've got Sammy. You got how is it Magdalena or is it Magdalene? Magdalene. Let's see. And
the fight could have been between Kylie and Mags then, because it's the only thing that makes sense. I kept saying 10-minute Mags. I didn't believe she was there for just 10 minutes.
Right.
Said she was. She was there for a brief time, and he said when you find out, he said it's going to make sense. Okay, Kelly says it's first and last name.
It's insane which that is possible, but at some point I had speculated that possibly, and I remember why now, the interview that Sammy done in her car, she stated that there was the people in the other friends in the car with her. Then she was going on to like she said Mags, and then it took her a minute to say Magdalene, but then she knew her Magdalene's boyfriend's name right off the bat. And I thought, wonder if that was the two people in the car with them when they were charging the phones when everything probably happened. I don't know why, but that came to me back then.
And then I think about in the interview, whew,
wow, this is a lot.
When Sammy was talking to Tony on his channel, and she said, and we were walking to the car, and she trails off. She gets distracted in her thoughts, in her mind. Nobody was knocking on the car window saying, "Come hang with me. You're the coolest, Sammy." You can tell in her own thoughts, she gets distracted, and she was, but I don't remember about what random stuff. She goes, random stuff, and she kind of shakes it off, and then she goes something about texting her mom. Yeah. I didn't like that she brought that up, or that she couldn't remember what they were talking about. Nobody needs the conversation verbatim.
Right. They weren't talking about charging their phones and her texting her mom. Like, really, what is there to say about that other than you're doing those two things and that's it? That was a short conversation. And it takes a while to charge your phone.
Oh, yes, it certainly does. It certainly does.
Jesus.
So to not be able to recall that conversation, I don't remember, then it's random stuff.
What did you think about the part where it was almost like a freaking, like my daughter's, tried out for like commercials and stuff. Like the part where she's like, oh my goodness, like she's like grabbing her head. She's like acting real weird. I can't remember the exact words she said, but it was like she got off track and got off of her thoughts, like what she was preparing, like she had prepared to say, like almost like she forgot her lines. Do you know what part I'm talking about? And how did that make you feel?
Oh, the whole thing. The whole thing was
right. Yeah.
Dodgy, not to be rude about it.
I love that. But I felt Amber Heard vibes.
It's insane. It's insane. Play it in slow motion. Hang on. Morgan's back. How are the birdies?
Sorry, I moved into a different room and the internet cut out.
That's okay. It happens. It happens. We're live. If anybody ever forgets it, it's never going to be a flawless perfect show because we're live. Ladies, find someone that reads lips. I'm about to learn.
We'll figure it out. This has got to be, yes.
I went too far.
Thing is that some of it may not be speculation. It may be real clues as to what happened. The party, 200 plus, fact is there was a lot of drinking and drugging. Reported fights, some disturbing behavior between Kylie and a girl named minutes before the party suddenly breaking up. And then cars started flying out of the parking lot. Something bad happened and all the kids' parents told them not to get involved. You may want to keep in mind that there's a possibility of what happened to Kylie could be more sinister, and there was a panic. I knew. I feel the same way. A kid goes missing after attending a party of 200 to 300 people. There's always, most likely, something that happened at that party. Someone knows something. Someone possibly did something. It's an accurate and fair assessment to make. Not only one person knows, but multiple people know.
Oh, multiple people do know. And also now you have to question, we spoke about it on the show a few weeks ago, Mags is there for 10 minutes, yet she knows about the craziness of the party. Somebody was trying to get her to do bong rips as soon as she got there. I'm like, well, would that make her leave so fast? I'm wondering if she's the one that had the fight with Kylie. Let's see. Jules, what you got for me?
I just wanted to clear up that Jagger is not in the hospital.
Well, are you saying someone is spreading false rumors?
Well, according to him himself, he is not in the hospital. He is fine.
Who'd have thunk it? Are you kidding me?
More
Well, I'm
distractions.
glad he's not in the hospital.
Just clearing that up. So there's, all the rumors and all that stuff.
Well, while I've got you on the spot, who do you think Doug's talking about who had the argument with Kylie, which, by the way, wouldn't lead to murder? But I'm just wondering.
I'm thinking Sammy.
Like based off of Doug with the the name that he would have said that we couldn't see. Like, is that the vibe you get? I know Sammy was all of our like first person, but now that you've seen that, did it change anything for you? I guess.
No. No, it didn't. I think that Mags convinced her to go to the party.
Kylie Rodney case.
Sorry, y'all. I had a phone call.
And so
Convinced her to go to the party.
Who do you think it is?
And I don't know why. I'm not sure why she left 10 minutes after, but 10 minutes doesn't seem like very long for a fight.
Well, they came together. Maybe they were fighting in the car on the way and they got out and the fight continued. And Mags was like, screw this, bye.
Very
Brooks,
true.
that is a great idea. Yeah, great thought.
Let's see what Audrey thinks. Real quick, Morgan, who do you think he's talking about?
Oh, I have no clue, to be honest. It could be anyone. But I don't know we don't know what kind of person Kylie was like, whether she was outspoken like me who could get into an argument with a stranger, or if she was a quiet person that would only ever argue with somebody that she was already close with. We don't really know.
Trigger warning, do not piss Morgan off. Let's see what Audrey has to say. Hello, Audrey. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Hello.
Hi, hun.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up, do you remember in the interview that Sammy did, she said that the fight that night, well, she was talking about how there's always fights at the parties, and sometimes there would be a fight after about who won. And she said, but the fight that night, there was no question about who won. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how she put it, but she said there was no question about who won that fight. And she kind of, she had her little smirk face. But that to me stood out. Like maybe that was her saying she was the one fighting with Kylie.
Like she put herself in first person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. That's a great point. That's a great observation. Uh-huh. Well, and also, who'd we lose? Did Jules hop down? What do you think about, I'm not over this yet. There's too much right now for me to process, guys. That's why I said this is going to take a long time to go through. Not all today. We have a 3-day weekend coming up. What do you think about this? Adventures with Purpose, out to members on YouTube. Here comes Jagger, clout chasers. Then he says, your witness is an effing liar. Who said the guy's a witness? Why wouldn't he say that guy's lying? That guy's a liar. He's calling the tow truck driver a witness. A witness to what?
Not only that, who's he saying has no respect when he's being like that to the people that found his supposedly love of his life?
Yes, respectful. Like I said, did Jagger and Kylie's mom want her left in the lake? This is a lot of shade to throw to people that found Kylie.
You would think they would have some type of, thankfulness in their heart for that, for giving them the answers. I know it isn't the answers they wanted, but their answers nonetheless. And I mean, it wasn't going to change. So would you rather have to wait like a very long time or get your answers sooner? I mean, just as a parent, I wouldn't want this to happen at all. I've lost a child. My son passed away, not like this or anything, so I don't know what she's going through.
I'm sorry.
But just it's okay. It's just like, have some grace and, just show. I get it. Everybody has different emotions and handles different things different ways. I just do feel that is strange. I wonder what those comments are in between Jagger's first comment there when he comes in like a Hellcat, and then in between. See, it says view 15 more replies. In between, your witness is an effing liar, and you guys are have no respect. Also, yeah, witness. Like, dude, did you see him? Like, so he was a witness?
I don't understand witness. I mean, look, there's something else I don't get. Your witness is an effing liar. You guys have no respect. Well, witness is a very strong word.
Mm-hmm.
Witness is a really strong word to use. And then we go to, he had replied to someone the day before, and he says, yeah, well, she never even called roadside assistance. How do you know? Well, I know she didn't because I don't believe she was alive. How do you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then you again, the 4 hours. I live 4 hours away. Nobody said, hey, dude, where do you live? Why are you clearing your name? I cannot believe that now Mags hasn't said anything, between Kate, who just said it's BS. Here's Kate talking to Crime Stories Obsessed. All of that is BS. It's not true. People are making up. People are making it up. How do you know if you weren't there? Wouldn't you be relieved? Not relieved that something terrible happened to your friend, but they're getting somewhere in their investigation. Oh my God, this is huge.
Right. You would
How
have
can you just call bullshit everywhere? I don't get it.
And why do you feel like you have to get defensive and defend yourself?
Mm-hmm.
No.
If you didn't do anything, if there's no merit to it, and witness, that's like saying, like, dude, yeah, so you are a witness. Like, that was never inferred. He inferred that. He put that in there, like that, because maybe is it because he is the guy that he saw and he knows you know what I mean? Like, sometimes our subconscious tells on us, and I feel like these kids think they're so smart, and it's coming out that maybe they're not as smart as they thought after all.
They're not. I can tell them they're not.
We've put so much together in just what we've seen. Like, oh my goodness, this video. Wow.
Let's welcome Stephanie. Just joined the panel. Stephanie, nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. So I just have a thought. It kind of occurred to me today, watching Adventures with Purpose video, when he was talking about with the tow truck driver, that the guy and the girl, kind of acting awkwardly. I know with my husband, men don't pay a whole lot of attention to detail whenever it comes to appearance. So you see a blonde girl and a guy, it could very well be her car. I'm sure they have that on video, but it could have been that guy with any of those blonde girls that, in his mind looks like her. But I was thinking maybe the movement around the car wasn't out of awkwardness, but to maybe keep him boxed in towards the front and away from the back of the car.
I think you're onto something, because I have a very big suspicion that Kylie was already in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Why else would a grown girl need help with a seatbelt, right? That was my thought too. Like, try to keep them up here, not back there.
Right. Yeah. So if you've got one on one side of the car and the other one on the other side of the car, and anytime he moves from one side to the other, they're splitting ways to stay on both sides of the car. It seems like they're just trying to keep him positioned to a certain area of the car from going towards the back.
I bet these geniuses, they've done all this and they've got her back there, and then they go and they're like a torn up mess. I mean, just imagine the chaos, these kids, and then they knock it into neutral. They can't understand like what's happened or whatever. It's not starting, and they're freaking out, and trying to figure out how they're going to keep the guy from going to the trunk. Well, just pretend like you're like out of it and you don't really know much, and be weird and like play with your seatbelt and ask for help. Like distractions again.
Right, and that's another thing too. It's Kylie's car, so I'm sure she would know how to use her car. They talk about, she drives all the time. She handles herself well behind the wheel, and I've seen where those Honda CRVs that the neutral is above the drive instead of under the drive, which is not normal in a regular car. And it was in out of gear. It wasn't in park, and that's the reason why it wouldn't crank. So if it was actually her car, I'm sure she would have known, hey, let me put it in gear and get this thing to crank up, you know?
Absolutely. That goes back, Brooks, to, I mean, she would have known that, right? So that's like a mistake that somebody who didn't know would make.
Right. Yeah.
If the female was Kylie, then she would have known that, obviously.
That's how I feel. Another thing that I wanted to point out too is from earlier in the interview with Mags and Sammy with the news, I believe it was, where Mags was talking about the guys making them take bong rips or whatever. They never mentioned Kylie in any of that. You know, this interview is for Kylie. We're looking for Kylie, you know, and you're talking about these guys at this party who are really sketchy and you didn't feel right. Well, where was Kylie at during all of this?
Well, that's the oddest, not the oddest. I need to quit saying that. The only person that really, except for Jagger's online love bombing, Sammy sort of does the same thing in her when she speaks with Tony and she's talking about Kylie. That's when she goes into the house. She loves to swim. Remember that?
Yeah.
The water.
But everybody else is
so
very,
weird.
it's Kylie's kind of an afterthought, something that they just can't bear to talk about, except
right.
for who made creme brulee that day. That's pretty much all we get.
Right.
I find it odd that they bring her car out of the water on that Sunday night. It was I couldn't watch that.
Yeah.
They bring her car out of the water. I'm not saying I expected a shrine to pop up on the beach, which would be, I mean, the police wouldn't let them anyway. Somewhere. It happens in every case, whether it's a child or not. There is some sort of memorial put up. There's people bring teddy bears, balloons, pictures of them together. Nothing like that came up.
The cross at Gabby Petito's site, for an example. You know?
They're also self-centered, like, and even in their interviews and stuff, like you guys have stated, it doesn't seem to be about Kylie. It's about themselves in a lot of ways, or distracting. And then the comment about the water, yeah, that was super eerie.
It's a lot of Freudian slips that's coming up, it seems.
And they were all so sure that Kylie was just fine and safe and they were going to find her. Like, why would you feel so at ease?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you be so worried about your friend?
Because they knew what had actually happened, and they
Yeah.
didn't have to worry about it because they knew where she was the whole time, and they were just causing distractions and trying to make everybody else comfortable with that idea, which there for a little bit, you know, seemed like a lot of people kind of went with, you know, maybe that and like possible accident and stuff, which, like we've discussed, I just felt it from the beginning.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me on. I felt like I've talked too much.
You're good.
And I'm glad we're besties. I will come back, and I adore you. Thank you so much for this, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed weekend. And I'll see you when you go live again.
Yeah, shoot me an email, and happy Labor Day.
Absolutely, and you as well, and everyone, the chat, all of you, love you, toodles.
You too.
I'm going to hop off too. Thank you for letting me talk.
All right, good to see you. All right, I'm going to listen to this again real quick.
Just down the street in Truckee, California. And Nick, a longtime supporter, fan of ours, appreciate you for coming up to us, possibly has some information in regards to the Kylie Rodney case. So why don't you explain a little bit about what you may have run into?
So my name is Nick. I work at an emergency roadside assistance program. I got a call up in Truckee, Boca, for a battery call. So pretty much that means that the vehicle can't start. So I went en route up there, found the vehicle. At the time, I didn't realize that this was a situation until later on. But
let me stop right there. You said you went to Boca.
Yes, sir.
So over near Boca Lake.
Yes, sir.
So not Prosser Lake, Prosser Creek Lake.
It's right by Crosser Creek.
Yeah, so just north. So you went to Boca.
At first, when I went there, I realized after my test that everything was working great on the vehicle. At that point in time, I did notice that she was very hesitant and very skeptical on everything that was going on. She was asking me really weird questions, in the sense of, how do you put on your seatbelt correctly? And and she asked me to show her on how to connect it to her actual belt. After that, she was stating on how she was there all night and she couldn't get her vehicle started.
We lost Morgan. It's just you and me. Audrey.
All right. That's
How do you
fine.
connect it? He just said to
Connected to her actual belt. Yeah.
her actual belt isn't the seatbelt. How to connect it to her actual belt?
And we know Kylie was wearing a belt. I mean, it just.
And Sammy was very specific about the belt. I'm sorry, just that's a red flag to her actual belt. Why? What are you going to be doing that you're not flying out of that car?
And I'm pretty sure too. He says it was like a dead battery call, but he says they always say that when a car won't start. And I'm pretty sure he says in there that it wouldn't start because they figured out that the car was in neutral. So how do you?
But cars will start in neutral. We've had several people in here say, no, they'll start in neutral. I'm going to go try it.
Yeah, that's strange.
But she was found in the way back. Hang on.
Show her on how to connect it to like her actual belt. After that, she was stating on how she was there all night and she couldn't get her vehicle started due to the fact that now we both realized it was in neutral. She was wearing a sweatshirt, so it looks like she has been there for quite a while.
What color was the sweatshirt?
It was a gray sweatshirt.
Gray sweatshirt. Was it dark gray or light gray?
It was light gray.
Okay, and I paused it on there because I could see mistaking. Now, mind you, this is just a stock photo of the Lana Del Rey. Okay, this is just a stock photo.
Yeah,
You know the condition of the actual one that law enforcement asked for. This sweatshirt could be a couple of years old, so it would be even more faded than the stock photo.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I feel like you would know though, light gray, or he I don't know. Men see stuff differently. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess as girls we would know. And that's another thing about Sammy is you know what your girlfriend's wearing. You know what your friend's wearing to a party without a doubt. You know what she's wearing.
What they had on.
You ask each other.
You changed.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why it's so like unsure and going back and forth with, oh, she might have had this sweatshirt or that. So, yeah, it's all so strange.
I'm reading to see if a Honda CRV will start when in neutral.
And that part to me too, they didn't know it was in neutral. Like,
no, that's weird.
That screams like under the influence or out of your mind, panicked on drugs, something hungover. Like, you're not all there. You couldn't tell that it was just in neutral.
Now, mind you, I'm just Googling this. So Honda CRV, will it start in neutral? That's my search term. And it says put key in ignition, and it says it will start the electrical system, not the engine.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. It's my Google search.
Yeah. I mean, that probably confused me even more.
What'd you say? We have a lag a little bit.
Oh, that's okay. I said that probably confused them even more that the battery came on like lights and all that, but not the engine. And thinking that they're like in a state of mind where they're under the influence or in a panic.
Okay, because some people are like, no, it will start in neutral. Some people are like, no. Like I said, I just did a simple Google search that says it will start the electrical system will come on, like you can listen to the radio, but you're not going to start the car. All right, so that's odd. And the fact that they didn't know it was in neutral, that tells me that that guy was there to see someone or get fingerprints in that car. That's what I'm thinking.
Uh-huh.
And I got to put the link up. Somebody said, how do I call in? Let me put that up real quick. And the reason that I'm fixated on the hoodie is because it was said that the Lana Del Rey hoodie was loaned to Kylie by Kate, and that it was maybe Kate got it back from her. Kate wasn't at the party. Shut up, Brooks. Forget it.
Right. That we know of. Hey, that we know of. We're
That we know of. That we know of.
But we do know that it was Kate's hoodie.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, she could have got it back. I mean, and remember Jared said from AWP, Jared said to pay attention to those two people that were going around the car. Those two people together, right? And they were the ones together in the interview after searching in Reno, which is weird to me. I don't know why you'd go so far away from where she last was. Like, I'd feel like I was putting myself far away from finding her. I don't know why you would do that.
I don't know why they've done anything, particularly.
Yeah.
If there was an accident or an overdose, cover it up, or even worse, not want Kylie on this earth. I can't figure any of it out.
Yeah.
Smole,
I mean, well,
to
you
the
can't.
channel.
You can't figure out.
Welcome to the channel. Dim Smole said, worst theory ever. Yes, with body in the car, he was called to put his fingerprints on the car. Come on, please. Stranger things have happened. I find it more odd that they would call for roadside assistance when it's simply in neutral. I think there was a reason they wanted someone out there. I don't think it's because they don't know that you've got to have the car in park. We discuss everything here. And if you want to become a member and discuss even more, grab the membership link. We actually have giveaways, Dim Soul. I think a couple months ago, Momo of 11 won an Instapot. So if you are interested, grab that. Angel P is backstage. Hello, Angel P. Angel P. Are you muted, Angel P? Angel P is not connected, it seems. She'll have to. I don't know who was there. I don't know. I just don't believe it was Kylie for some reason. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But Jared did say that it was a positive match as far as he was referring to the mail. Did you catch that? He said that. Jared from AWP, he said that it was a positive match. And he was referring to the mail.
Oh, hell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know. And I mean, it's obvious who they were describing. So I don't know why he would say that if he wasn't sure. And I mean, we're going to find out because they've got that camera on that truck.
And they've got the camera, and the guy also said audio. Lisa left this comment after the show from yesterday, I believe. She said they didn't call for help. The car sent a call because of the faulty start. So much for my theory that they wanted someone there. So this guy just shows up. So when he called and they said the phone's dead, they could have very well have ignored the call. I don't know. And of course, questions about where's the cell phone.
Well, the tow truck driver said that the girl's cell phone, she mentioned that it was dead.
If it was Kylie, because it went grid at 12:33, but wouldn't she had charged the phone previously?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she charge it then? It would have obviously been back on. I mean, even when it just starts charging. That's why another reason I don't think it's Kylie.
Yeah, someone shut it off.
I don't think Kylie would have gone without a phone all night long out there. Hang on. Brooks, there's a new statement from the family on Twitter saying negative stuff about AWP. Not today. Are you serious?
I don't understand that at all.
I've got to go look. All right, I'm going to play this and I'm going to find it. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, there was a guy there that was with her at time being. He was wearing a black San Francisco flat top ball cap facing forwards. Brown hair that's sticking out just a little bit on the sides. It was kind of like they were both kind of at unease is what it looked like for me, like as if either they had a crazy night or a crazy day or there's something going on I couldn't know, and at the time I didn't realize what was going on. But other than that, he was a thinner built guy is the best way I could put it, with a bro tank, and it was a white bro tank. He had some freckles on his face, or maybe it was acne or whatnot, but it was on both sides of his face. He was also a little bit shorter than me, so I'm 6'3".
In hindsight, you're realizing all of this. When do you think that this took place? Was it before, during the day, after she disappeared?
To be honest with you, it's either right after she disappeared or right before she disappeared. But it was around noonish, 11 o'clock in the morning when I got out to her. During that period of time, after the period, I told her that I was going to leave, and I hope you have a great day. Vehicle, I told her to keep it running for a couple of hours to obviously make sure everything's working good on the vehicle, charging system wise. At that point in time, then I left, and then a week later is when I saw at a coffee shop that she was gone.
You saw this on a flyer or something?
Yeah, but then everything spiraled out of control, and I got in contact with the detective and tried to do everything I could, and then I saw you guys.
Now we know we probably have a tie to Boca.
Wow. God. I can't find this on Twitter. Angel's having internet issues. That's okay. What is the account? Do you know, Audrey? Can you find it? Where's Court K? Court K's my Twitter girl. Well, it's going to be really, really, really sad. Also, whoever has seen this on Twitter, is it a blanket statement from the whole family, or is it from just on behalf of the mom? Okay, hang on. Jay Woody said I posted it in Discord. Hang on. Man. It's a bunch of pictures. The reminder. What is this? Is it the one that says, Aunt asked me as a friend to release the attached statement? Is that the one, Jay Woody? Jay Woody, grab the link. It's from SF Investigates. Yes, that's the one. Okay. Please understand. Okay. It's on the PI's Twitter. Kylie's grandfather plus aunt asked me as a friend to release the attached statement. Please understand being grateful to AWP for finding Kylie is distinctly separate from the pain caused by false notifications and the wild speculation created by released witness interviews. Statement by David Robertson, grandfather to Kylie Rodney. Everyone, please stop this madness. Leave us alone. You are hurting our family. Yeah, don't contact Grandpa. I hope people are not contacting the family. I really hope they're not. Statement by Lori, aunt to Kylie. Let this be known, Adventures with Purpose never contacted me, Aunt Lori, by phone or email. I return all missed calls. I found out about my great niece when two friends sent me a text as it was posted on social media. I received an email from my brother, David, later that night informing me that she had been found. I am outraged that AWP say they contacted me. Ooh.
But they didn't just say it. They had a video of it.
They had. Who were they talking to then?
Yeah.
Were
And who was
they
that?
misinformed as to who their contacts were?
And we heard the person on the other line too. That is so weird.
We saw it on the first version. They spoke with someone named Hello Jay Woody. Hello Angel. There was a Lori
Howdy.
and a Sally, I believe. What do you guys make of this? I wasn't expecting to get to this today. I watched and heard.
I was actually formulating an alternative theory regarding the aunt, but now the aunt, I believe it's Sally, is stating that they were not contacted, changes things up a little bit and certainly poses some major questions.
Okay, this is my problem with this, and I hate to even say it. I probably should shut my mouth, but I just can't help it right now. Okay, so the investigator put this out. He said, as a friend, at this point, does it really matter who called who? Or can we just be grateful that Kylie is no longer at the bottom of the lake? I'm very confused. If you disagree with me, please let me know.
I think in the grand scheme of things, no, it's not important. However, for us sleuths and people that want to get to the bottom, I think it is very important because we still don't even know who called AWP to go out there in the first place.
They said tens of thousands of supporters contacted them, and then they said, and law enforcement. I've read many articles where they said law enforcement as well.
Right, but how many things have we heard that were supposedly said or done that turned out to be not accurate so far? A lot.
So I'm really confused about this statement. At this point, they could have been misinformed about who's who in the family. I heard the phone calls. This is not the first time I've watched this. I've heard the phone calls. He spoke to someone named Lori. And I believe when he called, she didn't say, no, this isn't Lori. And then there was a Sally. Now, where they are in the family, that could have been, I don't know. Lori is the great aunt, so I don't understand this. But yeah, if what Grandpa said, leave us alone, then, I hope people aren't contacting them, sending friend requests, message. I hope that's not going on.
Sounds like it is.
Yeah, leave Grandpa alone. But as far as the private investigator putting this out on behalf of them, if you want people to leave you alone, I get that statement. Look, just don't contact us anymore. That's one thing. I'm down with that. But to say I never received a phone call at all, I've heard the recording.
Right. Yeah. They definitely called someone.
Wow. Wow. God's Country, welcome to the channel. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too.
What do you think?
I was just going back. I think there's some family dynamics going on, like, divorce and everything. But this Aunt Lori thing, I totally believe, obviously they called her. I believe it was her. And I think it was a Catholic Facebook group that I'm in called Pray with Martha. A Lori posted on there asking for prayers for her great niece. So that is for sure her aunt. Now, maybe she's more social media savvy and the family's not into it. And I don't know why I did it, but I screenshot. I guess so I could remember her name. I have screenshots of her asking for prayer requests. And she had the photo of Kylie.
She has a Facebook profile where I'm not directing anybody over there. Don't friend request or anything like that. It's public. Not the whole thing, but what's out there. And from years ago, she mentions her niece, Lindsay, who is Kylie's mom, and her great niece, Kylie. Mm-hmm. And there's mentions on her page about my great niece, Kylie, is missing. I'm going to read this again. There's some family issues. Statement by David Robertson, grandfather. Everyone, please stop this madness. Leave us alone. You are hurting our family. Yeah, let's not contact Grandpa, please. Statement by Lori Mae Herring. Let this be known. Adventures with Purpose never contacted me, Aunt Lori, by phone or email. I return all missed calls. We heard the phone call. She was crying.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that maybe someone in the family was unhappy that she was in contact with anybody. And she's just trying to backpedal it now. But I believe AWP because they documented it. I saw it. So, anyways, I just wanted to jump in there and throw that out there.
Girl, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm more confused than I've ever been. I heard it myself.
Yeah.
Unless they put the wrong name, that's easy to clear up. Listen, we don't know the family. This is who we were given as contacts. I mean, and they even said we call the family first. We're going to make these 2 phone calls.
Yeah, I think it's family dynamics that are coming into play, kind of in an already messy situation, making it a little more messy around the edges too. And the other thing I was going to say, I saw this on another channel. How old is Jagger? Is he 18?
I believe so.
I saw somebody mention this on another channel where they talked about he drove to where they would have quote unquote alone time. And somebody was saying that they felt like that was because the age of consent in Reno is 16, but where she lived, the age of consent is 18. So, and that just kind of struck me as odd that
God,
that thought process would be going on. And it was really weird in that interview how he's like, and this is where we spent our alone time. I just thought it was odd.
It is beyond, and it's tacky. It's
very
tacky.
That's
I believe
private.
it's on Plunder's channel, and there was a picture. It was a video where he posted, and he was like, "You didn't know that I was videoing you." Now, as a parent, I would definitely have a talk with my children and say, "You don't get videoed without your consent." And it certainly does not get posted to the internet. Call me old-fashioned, and I keep getting these lectures about, well, that's how kids do it these days. Respect is respect, young man. You do not video that girl without her knowing it and then post it as if it's a joke.
Yeah, it's really odd. So, anyways, that's all I was gonna come on and put my 2 cents in about that. And I hate being live, so I'm gonna hop off.
All right, girlfriend, don't be a stranger.
Alrighty.
And Brooks, to follow up on a question from earlier,
yes.
Sammy gave the interview with American Dream Chaser on 8/9, which would have been the Tuesday after she went missing.
Okay, so then the next day, because it was on a Wednesday,
correct,
is when Jagger and Kate were talking to Fox 40 in Reno. Do you think maybe mom is all pissed to hell? Because these are people on her side of the family. This is not saying anything.
Obviously, there's some dynamics going on within the family. And that's kind of where my wheels were spinning when I was thinking about it all earlier this morning. I just almost wonder if there's not just, the normal divorce dynamics going on, but distrust and parallel, like searching going on in the beginning of it all.
Well,
does that make sense?
Oh, it does. And there could be extra tension right now because, well, Kylie is deceased and went to a party that she probably shouldn't have been going to. Dad could be extra pissed. I got to refocus because what that family has going on, phew.
Every day is something new, right?
Yeah.
Still waiting to see if sheriff's office makes a statement today or not.
That's what I'm wondering. I keep hearing there's a press conference, and I don't see anything on the Facebook page for Nevada County or Placer. And I would think they would be saying, look, we have a press conference coming up. It's going to be very, very telling what they have to say, because that's what we were saying on the show yesterday. Whether you put it out through a media outlet or you go in front of the cameras or even on your Facebook page, it's got to be addressed.
No doubt.
Hey, I just wanted to say goodbye. I've got a newborn here, so
You have a
wait.
newborn?
Yes. He's actually a preemie. He was born 3 months early.
Oh,
So
God bless you.
yeah, he was only a pound when he was born, and now he's about 12 pounds. So he's doing great.
Well,
But
good luck, Mama. And hey, don't be a stranger around here.
yeah. And thank you for doing what you're doing. I think you're great.
Well, I
You're
think you're
truthful
great
and
too. You
honest.
go take care of that baby.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I feel like I ran everyone off now.
No, you didn't. It's me. It's me. Trust me. Man, I tell you what. So it just sounds to me like there's some problems in the family. And I think when it came out by the PI on Twitter, like I said, Twitter was lit up this week, and he said, no, Mom was at a sushi restaurant, and the waitress told her. Now he put it out on Twitter.
Right.
And I was like, oh. I'm not going to say what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's almost a whole nother situation too, with SF Investigates speaking on behalf of certain members of the family, and then he has a whole nother side of the PI community on Twitter against him. It really convolutes things, but we've also gotten a lot of information from SF Investigates that we probably would not know. It's really convoluted.
A lot. And he said he volunteered his services. I mean, this guy could be mad that Adventures with Purpose found Kylie and not him. I don't know. There's a lot going on that is just human behavior that really doesn't have anything to do with the case at hand, which is what happened to Kylie. But Resident Tones, but don't think I'm not going to talk about it. Resident Tones said wherever her phone is so important now. Oh, you damn right. I want to know why divers weren't back in that lake, and if it was not in the car, someone's going to have to find that phone. And wouldn't it be insane if it's not with one of the kids?
Yeah, there's a lot to the whole phone situation. If the phone is not in that car, I believe it'll never be found. Because it could be anywhere in the water, it could be buried anywhere out there, it could be in Reno for all we know.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be surprised if that car was not in the phone. I mean, the phone was not in the car. Listen to me.
But I would almost go to the extreme to say that we know that the tow truck driver calling Kylie's phone, going straight to voicemail, almost verifies that it couldn't have been Kylie.
Calling.
If she had it, if it was her, she should have been able to charge her phone.
You mean at 11 a.m. when the tow driver was there? Oh yeah.
Correct.
I
think that's a big clue.
No, I think because I just can't imagine her not. It was already said, if we're being told the truth, that they went to charge their phones. So then the next day, oh, my phone's dead. Well, charge your phone.
Which also makes me wonder, how there's always an ounce of truth in every pound of lie. Yes. We hear Sammy specifically mention we went to the car to charge our phones. What if she snagged the charger out of the car after they had departed from there, so that she would know that Kylie wasn't able to charge her phone? Speculation, hypothetical, but something to think about.
Anything's possible, and my mind is just blown. I think somebody behind the scenes is mad that they weren't not things didn't go down the way they wanted.
It does seem so.
Wow. Shoot. Well, I almost kept you guys 3 hours. We're coming on a 3-day weekend. So I'm going to start shutting this down. We have a lot to discuss, though. We have a lot. Make sure you're reminded. Hit the remind all, because I'm going to get a members live together where we're going to discuss more of Well, this case, obviously, and a few other things. And I just hope everybody has a fabulous 3-day weekend. Take a break from true crime. Enjoy the barbecue, the last 3-day weekend of the summer. Thank you for being the best chat and community on YouTube. And I'll see you back here on Tuesday morning. But make sure you hit your notifications in case something happens and I go live. And of course, for the members live. I will see you guys back here for sure on Tuesday and in between on Discord and Facebook. You guys are the absolute best. Thanks always for the amazing conversation and deep dive into these cases. See you later. Have a very happy and safe Labor Day. Bye-bye.
Bye.